Life doesn't always move at the pace we want. Sometimes it feels like, no matter how hard you try, the results stay out of reach. That's frustrating, exhausting, and can make anyone want to quit. But here's the truth that so many people overlook. Great things don't happen overnight. They take time. They require patience, steady effort, and a commitment to keep going even when it's hard to see progress. In this journey, you'll face slow days, moments of doubt, and times when it feels like no one notices your work. That's normal, and it's part of growth. What matters most is how you respond. Will you give up or will you keep moving forward? This guide is here to help you build the habits, mindset, and strength you need to keep pushing, day after day, no matter what. You'll learn how to show up consistently, how to focus on one step at a time, and how to find small wins that build your confidence. We'll explore ways to protect your energy, say no to distractions, and bounce back from setbacks stronger than before. This isn't about quick fixes or magic solutions. It's about real, practical steps that you can take every day to improve yourself and your life. By the end, you'll understand why patience isn't just waiting, it's an active part of growth. You'll see why rest and reflection are just as important as hard work. And most importantly, you'll find the courage to commit to your journey even when no one claps. If you're ready to stop giving up and start building something meaningful, this guide is for you. Stick with it, and great things will come. Chapter 1. Build daily discipline by showing up every single day. Every day you wake up is a new opportunity to shape your future, and the difference between who you are now and who you want to become lies in one quiet decision to show up, not once in a while. Not only when motivation hits, but every single day, especially when it's hard, boring, or thankless. That's where the real growth happens. Not in the spotlight, not in the praise, but in the silent moments when no one is watching and you decide to keep going anyway. Building discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about being there for yourself on the days when it feels easier to skip the workout, cancel the goal, or let the doubt win. Those are the days that shape you. The ordinary day, the ones where nothing exciting is happening. That's where greatness begins. Not in the noise of success, but in the quiet of steady action. Most people fail not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they give up when the process gets repetitive. They underestimate how long real change takes. They think the results should be faster, easier, or more dramatic. But anything worth having takes time, and time only rewards those who show up for it. If you want to be great at anything, health, work, learning, relationships, you need to keep returning to it again and again, with full effort, even when it's not convenient. That's what showing up means. That's what discipline looks like in real life. Showing up daily isn't glamorous. It's not what gets applause. It doesn't feel powerful in the moment. But it is powerful, because each time you show up, you're training your mind to act on commitment, not on comfort. You're proving to yourself that you can be counted on. You're becoming someone who honors effort over excuses. That alone is life-changing. Discipline isn't built through motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It's easy to feel inspired when you're watching someone else's story or imagining your dream life, but when the alarm goes off early, or the task feels repetitive, or progress seems invisible, motivation won't be there. What will be there is your habit, your discipline. That's what you fall back on when things get tough. So you don't wait until you feel ready. You build the habit of acting whether you feel like it or not. To build discipline, start with something small but meaningful. Wake up at a consistent time. Take a cold shower. Write down your goals every morning. Read 10 pages of a book. Exercise for 15 minutes. Whatever it is, pick something simple that stretches you just enough to build inner strength. Don't look for instant transformation. look for consistency. Because once you prove to yourself that you can show up for the small things, you'll trust yourself more with the bigger ones. The more you practice discipline, the less you rely on emotion. And the less you rely on emotion, the more stable your progress becomes. You stop starting and quitting. You stop being pulled by moods. You start becoming driven by clarity and purpose. You're no longer at the mercy of external circumstances or internal doubts. You've trained yourself to act regardless. That's power. Many people make the mistake of overloading themselves in the beginning. They set massive goals, try to do everything at once, and burn out quickly. Then they think they failed. But the truth is, they skipped the foundation. You don't build discipline by doing 100 things on day one. You build it by doing one thing every day, until it becomes automatic. Only then do you add more. That's how you scale your strength, gradually, with patience. Showing up every day also deepens your character. It teaches you humility. It reminds you that growth is earned, not gifted. You become less concerned with what people think, and more focused on who you're becoming. You stop comparing your path to others, because you realize your job is to keep stepping forward, one day at a time, regardless of how far others seem ahead. You're not here to compete with anyone. You're here to fulfill your potential, and that requires your presence every day. When you show up consistently, you create momentum, and momentum creates results. Small wins begin to stack. You start to notice changes. Maybe your body gets stronger, your mind gets clearer, your decisions get sharper. You feel more in control, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. That's the reward of discipline. Not just external achievements, but internal confidence. The quiet, unshakable belief that you can handle what life throws at you because you've trained for it. And even when you slip, and you will, that's not failure. That's part of the process. Discipline doesn't mean you never fall. It means you always get back up. You forgive yourself, you adjust, and you keep going. One bad day doesn't undo weeks or months of effort, but quitting does. So don't quit, ever. Rest if you need to. Reflect. But then return. The day after a setback is more important than the day of the setback. That's where your character is forged. Start thinking of discipline not as punishment, but as a form of self-respect. When you show up for your goals, your health, your learning, your responsibilities, you're telling yourself you matter. Your future matters. You're not waiting for someone else to save you or push you. You're stepping up and saying, I've got this. I'll take care of what I need to take care of. I'll keep showing up until I become the person I know I can be. No one can do that for you. People can inspire you, support you, even teach you, but no one can show up for you. That's your job, and it's the most empowering job you'll ever have, because once you take full ownership of your daily actions, you take full control of your future. There's nothing more freeing than that. This is the hidden truth about success. It's not about talent, luck, or timing. It's about endurance. It's about who can keep going when it's boring, painful, slow, or silent. It's about who can face the same task day after day and still give it their best. The people who succeed aren't the most gifted. They're the ones who didn't stop. They showed up long enough to break through. And yes, there will be days when it feels like nothing is working, when progress is invisible, when you wonder if it's worth it. Those days are the most important, because if you can show up on those days, you've already won. You've become the kind of person who doesn't need everything to go right in order to do what's right. That's rare. That's strength. That's leadership. Eventually results will come. Slowly, then suddenly. One day, you'll look back and realize how far you've come, not because of some big leap, but because of thousands of tiny steps, and you'll be proud. not just of what you achieved, but of who you became through the process. Patient, focused, disciplined, unstoppable. So today, no matter how you feel, show up, do the work. Honor the promise you made to yourself. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to feel amazing. You just need to be present. That's the secret. That's the edge. While others wait for the perfect moment, you're creating it. While others hope for breakthroughs, you're building one. Every act of discipline plants a seed, and if you keep showing up, the results will take root. Discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you choose, and you choose it every day. In the little decisions, in the hard moments, in the quiet victories no one sees. The more you choose it, the stronger you get. And the stronger you get, the more unshakable your life becomes. No one said this would be easy, but it will be worth it. Every day you show up, you're investing in the person you're becoming. Every day you choose discipline, you get closer to your goals. And every day you don't quit, you separate yourself from those who do. You have everything you need, the tools, the time, the strength, but it's up to you to use them. Don't wait for life to get easier. Become someone who can handle hard things. Don't wait for motivation. Become someone who moves without it. Don't wait for the outcome. Become someone who lives the process. That's discipline. That's growth. That's how great things are built. Slowly, steadily, one day at a time. And that's why you must never give up. Because great things take time, but they also take you, all of you. Your courage, your effort, your willingness to show up when it matters most. Every single. Chapter 2. Master Patience. By focusing only on one step now. Most people rush through life without understanding what they're rushing toward. They want everything fast: success, growth, healing, happiness, but don't realize that anything meaningful requires time and attention. The truth is, progress doesn't come in leaps. It comes in small steps, and the only way to stay sane, focused, and strong through the journey is to master patience. Not by waiting around, but by giving your full focus to the one step in front of you. The present is not a barrier to your goals, it's the doorway. You either walk through it mindfully, or you run past it and miss everything valuable along the way. When you give your attention to one task, one effort, one action right now, you start building the foundation for everything else. The problem is, most people think they need to have their entire life figured out before they start. They look at the top of the mountain and feel overwhelmed by how far they have to go. But the climb is not made in one giant leap. It's made by placing your foot steadily and carefully on the next rock, over and over again. You don't have to know how you'll get to the end. You just have to take the step in front of you with full presence. Patience is not passive. It's one of the strongest forms of self-control. It's the ability to stay calm and consistent even when you can't see the outcome yet. It's the ability to trust your direction without constantly needing results to validate you. You stop chasing instant gratification and start practicing long-term commitment. You stop measuring your worth by how fast things happen and start valuing your ability to stay focused when things are slow. If you're constantly thinking about what's next, you miss the power of now. You're always anxious, always comparing, always dissatisfied. You start things and abandon the moment they feel uncomfortable. You bounce from goal to goal without finishing anything. That's not ambition, that's restlessness. And restlessness ruins growth. Real change requires depth, not speed. You must be willing to stay where you are long enough to learn, to grow, to strengthen. That's what one-step focus teaches you: how to build peace in progress. You don't learn patience by waiting. You learn it by doing the right thing now and accepting that results will come later. You get up early. You do the work. You resist distractions. You stay with the process, even when it's boring, even when no one notices, even when your emotions try to talk you out of it. That's patience in action. It's not romantic, it's not exciting, but it's powerful, because while others are reacting to their moods, you're anchored in your purpose. The world will always try to make you rush. The pressure to prove yourself quickly will be loud. People will show off their highlights and expect you to keep up. But that pressure is an illusion. The people who truly achieve lasting success are the ones who stay focused on the fundamentals while everyone else is distracted by shortcuts. They've mastered the ability to work deeply and stay present, and because of that, they build something strong while others chase noise. One of the best ways to master patience is to shift your attention from outcomes to effort. Ask yourself every day, did I give my best to what's in front of me? That's the only question that matters. Because you can't control when the breakthrough comes. You can only control whether you were present and intentional with what you had today. If you repeat that kind of effort enough times, the results will come. But they come because of who you became, not because you forced the timeline. If you're building a habit, don't focus on where you'll be in a year. Focus on the action you need to take today. Drink the water, move your body, write the page, make the call. That's it. One step. And then tomorrow, you take another one. Not perfectly, not obsessively, just consistently. One step well done is better than 10 rushed ones that lead nowhere. People often give up not because the goal was too hard, but because they were too focused on how long it was taking. Time becomes a burden when your mind is always somewhere else. But when you live in the moment, time becomes a gift. You stop fighting the process and start learning from it. You stop dreading the journey and start becoming someone new through it. There is strength in slowing down. There is power in not reacting to everything instantly. There is wisdom in staying focused when the rest of the world is spinning in distraction. And this kind of discipline isn't about suppressing emotion, it's about directing it. You feel the urgency, the doubt, the fear, but instead of letting those emotions control you, you return to the step in front of you. You keep working. You stay grounded. That's how you win the inner battle. When you focus only on one step now, you also reduce stress. Most anxiety comes from overthinking, from imagining what might happen, what others will think, or whether you'll succeed. But when you come back to the task at hand, your mind gets quieter. You realize you don't need to solve everything at once. You just need to do this one thing well, and then the next. That's how clarity grows, not from controlling everything, but from doing one thing with full presence. Even in relationships, patience teaches you how to show up better. Instead of trying to change people or predict how things will unfold, you focus on listening, understanding, being present. That patience builds trust. It deepens connections. It makes you someone who brings calm instead of chaos. And that carries into every area of life, from business to health to personal development. You don't need to rush to prove your value. You don't need to race to keep up with anyone. You don't need to fear that you're behind. You are where you need to be right now. And your job is to honor that by taking the step in front of you with care and consistency. That's the mark of strength, not how fast you move, but how steady you stay. The truth is, you already have everything you need to grow. You don't need more hacks, more tips, more noise. You need stillness. You need presence. You need the ability to focus fully on the process and let the outcome take care of itself. That's what patience really is. Not just waiting, but trusting that if you continue to do what matters today, tomorrow will take care of itself. So start where you are. Pick one area of your life. Focus on it. Bring your full energy into it. Don't multitask. Don't rush through it. Don't let your mind jump ahead. Stay here, in this moment, in this step. Do it well. Do it with purpose. That's where confidence comes from. Not from being fast or perfect, but but from doing what you said you would do with integrity. The future belongs to those who can wait and work, who don't chase every trend, who don't panic when things are slow, who keep building day by day, trusting that real growth takes time. These are the people who rise while others burn out, because they understand the value of steady action. They understand that the strongest path is the one taken step by step. You don't need to see the whole picture to start. You don't need to feel inspired every day to act. You don't need to have it all figured out to be consistent. You just need to give your best to the step in front of you and let time reward your patience. The world will always try to distract you, but your power lies in staying centered, in doing your part without demanding immediate results, in choosing depth over speed. And when you master that, you become unshakable, because nothing outside of you can break a person who knows how to stay focused on the present step. You become the kind of person who builds a meaningful life, not by force, but by choice. A life built not in a rush, but with care. A life that reflects your values, your focus, your consistency. So breathe, slow down, trust your pace. Don't let the noise convince you to sprint when your strength lies in walking with purpose. Master patience not by waiting for everything to fall into place, but by giving everything you have to the one thing in front of you now. That's how you grow. That's how you rise. That's how great things are made. Step by step. Chapter 3. Strengthen your mindset through small wins each morning. Your mind is the starting point of everything you will ever achieve, and the strength of that mind is shaped not in the big moments, but in the quiet early hours, when no one is watching and the world hasn't yet placed its demands on you. Each morning gives you a choice. You can drift into the day distracted and reactive, or you can begin with small intentional actions that give your mind structure, confidence and control. The way you start your day is often the way your day will unfold. When you win the morning in small, purposeful ways, you build a mindset that is calm under pressure, focused on growth and ready for challenges. Small wins matter because they give your brain proof that you are capable. They shift your internal dialogue from hesitation to confidence. When you begin each day by doing something meaningful, however small, you are telling yourself that you are not here to coast. You are here to grow. That doesn't mean you have to change everything overnight. It means you anchor yourself in a few consistent actions that strengthen your sense of control and build self-respect over time. These are not meant to impress anyone else. They're meant to train your mind to rely on you. You don't need a dramatic routine to create momentum. You need a handful of actions you can repeat every day without fail. That might mean getting out of bed the moment your alarm rings. It might mean drinking water before you do anything else. It might mean writing a short intention for the day, reflecting in silence for a few minutes, moving your body, reviewing your goals, or reading something that feeds your mind. What matters is not the size of the act, but the consistency of it. Repeating small wins every morning builds discipline. It also strengthens your ability to direct your thoughts instead of being controlled by them. The first few minutes after you wake up are when your mind is most open. In those moments, your thoughts are not yet shaped by the day's events. This is the perfect time to plant thoughts that support the person you are becoming. If you start your morning with doubt, fear, or noise, you set a tone of chaos for the rest of the day. But if you begin with clarity and action, even in a simple way, you send your mind a message: I lead, not the world. That shift, repeated daily, gives you mental stability that others spend years chasing. Every time you choose action over delay in the morning, you gain a little more control over your mindset. When you follow through on even one small commitment, you start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. This is how confidence is built, not by external validation, but by private victories. You become trustworthy in your own eyes, and that trust becomes the foundation of your self-image. When your mind trusts you, it stops fighting you, And when your mind is on your side, your potential expands rapidly. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. There will be days when you don't feel like showing up. There will be mornings when motivation is low, sleep was poor, or stress feels heavier than usual. Those are the mornings that matter most. Because when you give yourself a small win despite how you feel, you break the habit of letting emotions dictate your actions. That emotional discipline is what gives your mindset true power. You stop waiting to feel good to do good. You do what needs to be done because you've trained yourself to lead with action. Your small wins might look different depending on where you are in life. Some mornings, a win might be resisting the urge to check your phone first thing. Other times, it might be pushing yourself to do a few extra minutes of exercise or pausing to sit with your thoughts instead of rushing into the day. The point is to choose actions that move you closer to the version of yourself you are building. Not just tasks, but commitments that align with your values and vision. The more you live in alignment, even in the early hours, the stronger your mindset becomes. A strong mindset isn't about always having positive thoughts. It's about being able to keep moving even when your thoughts are negative. Morning wins train you to stay grounded when the day throws challenges at you. You've already taken control once, so it's easier to do it again. You've already proven to yourself that you can act with intention, so you don't panic when pressure shows up. You're not building your life on unstable ground. You've anchored it in daily proof of your own discipline. One of the biggest lies people believe is that they need motivation to take action, but action itself creates motivation. The more you act, the better you feel. The better you feel, the more consistent you become. And the more consistent you become, the stronger your belief grows. That belief becomes your default mindset. You're no longer hoping things will work out. You're expecting it, because your behavior reflects commitment. That shift is only possible through repeated, reliable actions, starting first thing in the morning. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your habits. If your mornings are unstructured, rushed or chaotic, you begin each day in defense mode. But when your mornings are rooted in small wins, you build a sense of inner calm that protects you from the noise. It doesn't matter how loud the world gets when your inner world is steady, and that steadiness is not found in isolation or silence. It's built through consistent choices, done without drama or delay. Strengthening your mindset is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters, consistently. It's about choosing presence over distraction, direction over drift, clarity over noise. Your mornings are the training ground for all of that. They are your daily chance to lead yourself before anyone else leads you. And in a world that constantly pulls your attention away, the ability to start your day on your terms is a rare kind of power. If you begin every morning by giving your mind a clear signal that you are in control, you reduce the influence of doubt and fear throughout the day. You start seeing obstacles as challenges, not threats. You handle setbacks with more composure. You respond instead of reacting, all because you took the time to win your morning, again and again. There will never be a perfect day to begin. There will never be an ideal moment when everything feels aligned. That's why it's so important to begin with something simple, something small, something you can do regardless of how the rest of your life looks. These small wins are your anchor. They don't fix everything, but they create the space you need to think clearly, act wisely, and show up fully. Over time, these small wins compound. What began as a simple habit becomes a daily source of strength. You carry it with you into every decision, every conversation, every challenge. You know you can trust yourself to show up because you've proven it in the quiet moments. This trust is not something anyone can give you. It's earned. Slowly, repeatedly, through action. So choose one thing tomorrow morning that you will do with full presence, not for anyone else, not for praise or results, but for yourself, to remind your mind who is in charge, to start your day on purpose, not by accident, to give yourself one clean win that no one can take away. That is how you build a strong mindset, not through intensity, but through consistency, not by trying to be perfect, but by refusing to skip what matters. And if you do that day after day, your mindset will no longer be something you hope for. It will be something you've earned, something you've built, something that walks with you into every part of your life, quiet, clear, unshakable. That's the real power of small wins each morning. They don't just change your day, they change who you are. Chapter 4. Push forward when things feel slow and unclear. There will be days when everything feels like it's moving too slowly. You put in the effort, you do the right things, you stay committed, and still nothing seems to change. The results are invisible. Progress is hard to measure, and doubt begins to creep in. These are the moments when people usually pull back, question their path, or abandon what they started. But if you want to achieve something meaningful in your life, you need to learn how to keep going when the road ahead isn't clear and the pace feels unbearable. Pushing forward during the slow, confusing times is what separates those who make real progress from those who stay stuck. Uncertainty is not a sign that you're failing. It's often a necessary part of the journey. When things are unclear, it forces you to become more self-aware. You can't rely on easy feedback or quick wins, so you have to look inward. Are you acting out of habit or intention? Are you chasing something real or running from discomfort? The slow moments test your values. They bring your true reasons to the surface. If you only move forward when things are obvious and comfortable, you'll never build the resilience required to stay in the game long enough to succeed. The key is not to overthink the pace. Progress doesn't always look like forward motion. Sometimes you're building skills, perspective, and strength that can't be measured on the outside yet. That doesn't mean it's not happening. Growth often works in silence. It happens in the background, below the surface, while you keep doing the work without applause. This is the kind of progress that lasts, the kind that is earned through repetition, not rush. When things are slow, your mind will search for escape routes. It will suggest that maybe you're not ready, maybe the goal isn't right, or maybe someone else has it easier. That's the noise you have to ignore. The only thing that matters is what you do next. You don't need to see 10 steps ahead. You just need to make one solid move today. Action is what keeps you grounded when everything else feels uncertain. Clarity often comes from action, not thought. You don't figure things out by sitting around waiting for perfect answers. You get up, try something, reflect on it, and then try again with more insight. That's how things become clear, through engagement, not hesitation. If you wait to feel sure before you move, you'll stay in the same place forever. The path gets clearer because you keep walking, not because you sit and analyze every turn. There's no shortcut through this part. The only way is to stay consistent even when your energy is low and your faith is tested. Keep showing up to your responsibilities. Keep putting in effort even when no one notices. Keep making the next best decision. Your discipline will protect you when motivation disappears. Your habits will guide you when your emotions get in the way. The structure you build today will hold you up tomorrow when doubt returns. If you've ever looked back at something you've overcome, you'll notice that the turning point didn't usually come with a big breakthrough. It came because you didn't stop. It came because you kept moving through the fog, trusting that even slow steps count. The breakthrough only appeared after long stretches of showing up without reward. That pattern will repeat. The reward is always on the other side of persistence. One of the most practical things you can do during unclear seasons is simplify. Instead of trying to solve every problem at once, Pick one thing you can do well and give it your full attention. Reduce the noise, cut the distractions. Focus on a small routine that brings structure to your day. You might not be able to fix everything right now, but you can control what you do with your time, your energy, and your attitude. You also need to protect your mind from comparison. When you feel stuck, it's easy to look at others who seem to be moving faster, but you're not on their path. You don't know the full story behind their progress. Comparing timelines is one of the fastest ways to lose focus and spiral into doubt. The only person you need to measure yourself against is the person you were yesterday. Did you stay committed? Did you take a step forward? That's what matters. Sometimes you'll feel tired, not because you're doing too much, but because you're carrying too many expectations. Let go of the need for instant results. Let go of the idea that you should already be further along. That kind of pressure doesn't help you move faster. It slows you down. Replace it with patience, with the understanding that meaningful work takes time, and rushing the process will only weaken the outcome. Use this slow season to refine your mindset, strengthen your ability to delay gratification, build tolerance for boredom. Train yourself to find value in repetition. These are the qualities that will serve you later when the pace picks up and the stakes are higher. You're not just building skills, you're building mental toughness. You're becoming someone who doesn't need external proof to keep showing up. That kind of inner strength will stay with you long after the season of slowness ends. Your goals are still alive even when it feels like nothing is moving. The progress you're making is still real even if it's not dramatic. You have to remind yourself that what you're doing matters. It matters because you're becoming someone who honors your commitments. It matters because you're learning to be your own source of encouragement. It matters because you're creating a life that's stable, not just exciting. You won't always get confirmation that you're on the right path. Sometimes you'll feel alone in your efforts, but pushing forward during these moments is what sets your foundation apart from everyone else who gave up too soon. When clarity returns, and it always does, you'll be standing in a place that most people never reach. Not because you were lucky, but because you were patient and disciplined. Every time you keep going when it would be easier to stop, you gain strength. That strength doesn't scream or shine. It's quiet, steady, and dependable. It shows up when things are chaotic. It keeps you grounded when emotions are loud. It holds you upright when doubt tries to knock you down. And you earn that strength by moving forward, even when everything inside you says it's pointless. You are allowed to feel uncertain. You are allowed to be tired. But you are not allowed to give up on yourself just because the pace is slowed. You are not allowed to shrink your goals just because clarity is taking longer than expected. Stay in the game. Stay connected to your mission. Show up not because it's easy, but because it's who you are now. There is no perfect pace. Some seasons will move quickly, and some will feel like you're crawling through fog. But your job remains the same. Keep going. Don't let confusion freeze you. Don't let delays steal your drive. Push forward because your future is still unfolding, even if you can't see the details yet. Your breakthrough doesn't need your impatience, it needs your persistence. The more you embrace that truth, the stronger you become. And in time, the fog will lift, the path will clear, and the pace will return. But when that happens, you won't be starting over. You'll be continuing from a stronger, wiser, and more grounded place than ever before. Keep walking, keep working, keep trusting. You are moving forward, even now. Chapter 5. Train your focus by saying no to distractions. The ability to focus is not something you're born with, it's something you train, and training that focus begins with one difficult but powerful skill: learning to say no. Every distraction you allow weakens your direction. Every interruption you accept costs you a piece of your energy. And every time you allow your attention to drift toward things that don't matter, you give away time you'll never get back. Most people don't struggle with goals because they lack ambition. They struggle because they're surrounded by noise and haven't learned to block it out. Focus isn't about doing more. It's about choosing less with more intention. Distractions today come in many forms. They come through your phone, your habits, your social obligations, your thoughts, and your environment. Some are obvious, others are subtle. The most dangerous ones often look like harmless activities that seem urgent or entertaining, but slowly pull you away from the things that truly matter. When you're not intentional about your focus, you become reactive. You respond to every message, click every headline, chase every small stimulation, and in doing so you build a brain that constantly searches for the next thing, instead of staying rooted in the one thing you should be doing. To train your focus, you have to decide what matters most in your life, and then protect that decision. That means being willing to disappoint others. Sometimes it means stepping back from conversations that waste your energy. It means putting boundaries around your time without apologizing for them. This isn't selfish. This is clarity. You can't live a meaningful life if you're constantly distracted by meaningless things. You can't reach your full potential if your mind is pulled in 100 directions every day. Real focus requires discipline, and discipline begins with the courage to say no. There's a cost to everything you say yes to. Every yes is a trade-off. When you agree to check your notifications one more time, that time comes from somewhere. When you allow someone else's urgency to hijack your schedule, that energy has to be taken from what you were supposed to be doing. If you never protect your focus, your days become a blur of unfinished tasks and scattered attention. You look busy, but nothing important gets done. You feel exhausted, but have no results to show. You end each day wondering where the time went and why nothing changed. Focus isn't just about productivity, it's about peace. When your mind is pulled in too many directions, you feel anxious, impatient, and unfulfilled. But when you reclaim your attention, you start to experience life with more clarity and depth. You become more present in conversations. You finish what you start. You feel more in control. This doesn't happen by chance, it happens by choice. Every time you resist a distraction, you strengthen the part of your mind that can stay centered. And every time you give in, you train your mind to expect interruption. Start with simple changes. Turn off unnecessary notifications. Choose one task at a time and finish it before moving to the next. Schedule time for the most important work and guard that time fiercely. Don't check your phone first thing in the morning. Don't multitask. Don't say yes to every invitation. Don't leave your environment open to constant interruptions. Each of these choices may seem small, but together they create a mental environment where focus can thrive. This is how attention is trained, not by wishing for it but by designing your life around it. One of the hardest parts about saying no to distractions is dealing with the discomfort of stillness. Many people use distractions to avoid being alone with their thoughts. Scrolling, clicking, chatting, watching. All of it creates the illusion of engagement while keeping you from facing your own mind. But to truly train your focus, you must become comfortable with silence. You must learn to sit with discomfort without reaching for escape. This isn't easy, but it's necessary, because once you build that inner stillness, you become unshakable. You're no longer addicted to external noise. You can work deeply, think clearly, and act with intention. Your ability to focus is also shaped by your physical habits. Sleep, nutrition, and movement directly impact your mental clarity. You can't expect sharp focus if your body is exhausted. You can't expect to be present if your system is overwhelmed with stimulation. Taking care of your body is not separate from mental discipline. It is a crucial part of it. A clear mind lives in a healthy body. When you honor that connection, You make it easier to stay focused without having to fight your own biology. Saying no doesn't always feel good in the moment. You may feel guilt, discomfort, or fear of missing out. But every time you prioritize focus over distraction, you reinforce your values. You send a message to yourself and others that your time matters, that your goals matter, that you are available for everything, because you are committed to something greater. Over time, this earns you respect from others and from yourself. You begin to walk with more confidence, not because you're doing more, but because what you're doing has meaning. There will always be things trying to pull you away from what matters. That won't change, but you can change how you respond. You don't have to answer every call. You don't have to engage in every debate. You don't have to keep up with every trend. The more you narrow your attention, the more powerful it becomes. And the more powerful your attention, the more you can accomplish with less stress and more fulfillment. Training your focus also changes how you relate to time. You stop feeling rushed because you're not constantly reacting. You stop feeling scattered because your energy is directed. You get more done in less time, not because you're working harder, but because you're working with more presence. Presence is what turns ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Presence is what makes your time feel rich instead of rushed. If you want to achieve anything significant, you must be ruthless with your attention. You must treat it like the most valuable resource you have, because it is. Your attention shapes your experience of life. What you focus on becomes your reality. And if your focus is constantly hijacked by shallow distractions, your life becomes shallow too. But if you give your full attention to the things that matter, your purpose, your growth, your relationships, you create a life filled with depth, clarity, and meaning. There is no shortcut to mastering your focus. It takes practice, it takes discomfort, it takes repeated choices that go against the easy path, but the rewards are worth it. You become more effective, more calm, more clear. You stop wasting your energy on things that don't matter. You start building something that lasts. This is how discipline is developed, not in the dramatic moments, but in the quiet decisions to protect your attention. Every distraction you resist is a victory. Every moment of focus is a deposit into the life you want to build. The more you train this muscle, the more natural it becomes. You won't need to force it forever, but you do need to start now. Start with your environment. Start with your habits. Start with your mindset. Start by choosing one important thing and giving it your full attention. Not later, not when it's convenient. Now, because if you don't take control of your focus, something else will. And if something else is directing your attention, it's also controlling your life. Reclaim it. Guard it. Use it wisely. That's how you train your focus. Not once, but every day, by saying no to what doesn't matter and yes to what does. Chapter 6. Grow stronger by learning from every small failure. Failure is not the end of progress. It is the starting point of real growth, if you allow yourself to see it clearly. Most people are so afraid of making mistakes that they avoid the exact experiences that could make them wiser and stronger. They treat failure like a signal to stop, instead of using it as feedback to adjust. But every small failure carries a lesson, and that lesson is only useful if you pause, reflect, and apply it with honesty. Strength doesn't come from doing everything right the first time. It comes from continuing forward every time something doesn't go as planned. When something falls apart, when you try and don't succeed, when you take a risk and the outcome disappoints you, the worst thing you can do is pretend it didn't happen or run away from it. That failure is a mirror. It shows you where your thinking needs clarity, where your skills need sharpening, where your process needs refining. If you skip that reflection, you stay stuck. But if you look closely at the experience, not with judgment but with curiosity, you grow. You develop awareness. You begin to understand not only what went wrong, but who you need to become to do better next time. There is no version of success that doesn't include failure. No growth is smooth. Every strong person you've ever admired has gone through moments where nothing worked. The difference is, they didn't use those failures as excuses. They used them as fuel. They took the lesson, adjusted their mindset, and moved forward without dragging shame behind them. If you want to become senily strong, you need to shift your relationship with failure from something to avoid into something to study. That shift will change the way you respond to every challenge in your life. Each small failure contains a message, but it requires stillness and honesty to hear it. You don't grow from the failure alone. You grow from your response to it. Blaming others or making excuses blocks growth. Taking full responsibility without beating yourself down is what allows you to change. It's not about perfection, it's about ownership. You must be willing to admit where you misjudged, where you rushed, where you held back, where you lost focus, not to punish yourself, but to improve your approach. There's no shame in falling short. The real shame is in refusing to learn. When you ignore your own patterns, you repeat them. But when you slow down and observe your decisions with humility, you get better. You become more intentional. You start to trust yourself, not because you always succeed, but because you always adjust. That self-trust is the foundation of quiet confidence. You know that no matter what happens, you will face it, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Many people fear failure because they think it defines them. But a mistake is not your identity. It is simply an event, a moment in time, a piece of data. You can look at it objectively without attaching your worth to it. When you remove the emotion from failure, you can analyze it with clarity. What did I miss? What assumptions did I make? What would I do differently if this happened again? These questions help you turn failure into wisdom. The more you ask them, the more skilled you become at navigating future challenges. Sometimes failure comes from a lack of preparation. Other times it comes from circumstances you couldn't control. Either way, it offers insight. It reminds you to slow down, to pay attention, to strengthen your foundation. When something breaks, you have an opportunity to rebuild it better. That rebuilding process is where growth happens. Not in theory, but in real practice. You stop talking about improvement and start living it. You stop wishing for things to be easier and start becoming more capable. Learning from failure also teaches you patience. Most people expect results too quickly. They want everything to go smoothly, and when it doesn't, they think something's wrong. But mistakes are part of the learning curve. You don't become excellent by avoiding failure. You become excellent by absorbing the lessons failure gives you. You keep adjusting, refining, testing, and improving. You treat each setback as part of the process, not a sign to stop. One of the most important parts of growing from failure is letting go of your ego. It's easy to protect your image, to pretend that nothing went wrong, to act like you're unaffected, but that pride will cost you progress. You don't need to impress anyone, you need to be honest with yourself. Pride resists growth. Humility invites it. The more willing you are to admit what didn't work, the faster you'll figure out what does. Strength comes from honesty, not pretending. You also need to separate the outcome from the effort. Sometimes you do everything right and the result still doesn't go your way. That doesn't mean you failed. That means life is unpredictable. But even in those moments, you can find lessons. You can strengthen your ability to stay calm, to let go, to redirect your focus. Resilience is built when you stop needing perfect results to validate your effort. You keep showing up, not because everything is easy, but because you're committed to growth no matter what the outcome. Every time you bounce back from a failure, you create a new version of yourself, a version that is more stable, more aware, more prepared. The pain you feel in the moment fades, but the growth you gain from it stays with you. That's why it's worth it. Not because failing feels good, but because learning from it makes you better, stronger, wiser. You become someone who is not afraid to try again, because you've already survived disappointment and turned it into power. Growth from failure is not automatic, it's a choice. You have to pause, reflect, accept, adjust, and then act again. That cycle, repeated over time, shapes you into someone who can handle life with clarity and confidence. You're not thrown off by setbacks. You expect them, and you're ready to learn from them. That mindset gives you an edge. You're not easily discouraged. You don't give up at the first sign of resistance. You keep evolving, because that's who you've trained yourself to be. You don't need to fear small failures. You need to collect them, use them, let them guide your next step. Every great achievement is built on a foundation of trial and error. Every strong person you admire has failed more times than you realize. They didn't get there by being flawless. They got there by learning faster, by paying attention, by making every misstep count for something. So the next time you make a mistake, don't rush past it. Don't beat yourself up. Don't let it define you. Look at it. Learn from it. Use it. This is how you grow stronger, not by pretending it didn't happen, but by choosing to become better because it did. Growth is not reserved for those who always get it right. It's available to anyone willing to stay honest, stay aware, and stay committed to improvement, especially when things go wrong. That's where real strength is built. Quietly, consistently, one lesson at a time. Chapter 7. Take ownership of your choices without blaming others. Taking ownership of your choices means accepting full responsibility for your life without pointing the finger at anyone else. It means standing in front of the mirror and being honest about how your actions, decisions, and habits have led you to where you are now. Blaming others might bring short-term comfort, but it blocks long-term growth. The more you blame, the more you surrender control. You give away the power to change by placing the cause of your situation in someone else's hands. But when you take ownership, you reclaim that power. You remind yourself that you are the one who makes the next move, and that your life is a direct reflection of your choices, not your circumstances, not your environment, not other people's behavior. There is a hard truth most people avoid. Your life doesn't improve because others treat you better. It improves because you make better choices. And those choices begin with how you respond to everything that happens to you. Things will happen that are unfair, unexpected, and difficult. But how you respond is always your decision. You can let it define you, or you can decide to take full responsibility for your response. That's where your power lives, in the decision to respond with clarity, discipline, and action, instead of excuses, emotion, and blame. When something goes wrong, your first instinct might be to defend yourself. You might want to explain, justify, or shift the attention to someone else's mistake. That habit is human, but it's also destructive. Every time you excuse yourself from responsibility, you delay growth. You protect your ego at the expense of your future. The people who grow the fastest are not the ones who avoid mistakes. They're the ones who admit them quickly, learn, and adjust. They don't wait for perfect conditions or perfect people. They act with ownership, even when it's uncomfortable. Taking ownership doesn't mean blaming yourself for everything. It means acknowledging your role in what happens and accepting that your actions shape your reality. You can't control other people's behavior, but you can control your attitude, your effort, your preparation, your words, your boundaries, and your standards. If your life feels off track, the solution begins with your decisions. Not what someone else did or didn't do, not what the world is doing, but what you are choosing each day. This mindset is rare because it's demanding. It forces you to stop waiting for someone else to change. It asks you to look at your daily routines, your reactions, your priorities, and your excuses. It requires you to face the truth about what you've been avoiding. That level of honesty is not easy, but it is essential. The people who live with peace and direction are the ones who take responsibility for both their failures and their potential. They don't outsource their life to other people's actions. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to move from a mindset of victimhood to a mindset of ownership. Victimhood says, I can't help it because of what happened to me. Ownership says, this happened, but here's what I'm going to do about it. One keeps you stuck, the other sets you free. This shift is not just about taking action, it's about taking full control of your identity. When you stop blaming, you start leading. You lead yourself with discipline, with awareness, with intention. Blame is a trap because it's easy. It gives you a place to hide. It gives you something to point to when your results fall short. But blame never moves your life forward. It keeps you stuck in the past, trapped in a story where you are powerless. Ownership pulls you out of that story and puts the pen back in your hand. It allows you to write a different ending, a better one, but only if you're willing to be brutally honest about the role you play in your own outcomes. If you want a better life, you must start making better choices, and that starts with owning your current ones. What are you doing that you know you shouldn't? What are you avoiding that you know you need to face? What habits are keeping you comfortable but also keeping you small? These are the questions that create change. Not by waiting for inspiration or blaming the past, but by deciding to act with full responsibility now. Not later. Not when it's easier. Now. Taking ownership also means accepting the weight of your goals. Big goals come with pressure, responsibility, and effort. They require you to stop blaming time, circumstances, or other people for your lack of progress. They demand that you stop making excuses and start making decisions. If something isn't working, change it. If you're not growing, push yourself. If you're not where you want to be, do something about it. No one is coming to save you. You are responsible for your progress. This mindset also affects how you treat your relationships. When you stop blaming others, you start listening better. You take responsibility for how you communicate. You stop reacting and start responding. You don't wait for someone else to apologize first. You step up and lead with maturity. That shift can heal relationships, build trust, and create a stronger connection. Ownership doesn't just improve your life, it improves the lives of everyone around you. In daily life, ownership shows up in small ways. Waking up on time even when no one is watching. Finishing what you said you'd start. Admitting when you were wrong without defensiveness. Following through on your word, even when it's hard. Choosing not to complain when things don't go your way. These simple habits build a life of discipline and self-respect. You no longer need others to carry you. You carry yourself. There will always be people who choose to blame. They will wait for the world to change before they do. They will point fingers, make excuses, and stay trapped in a loop of frustration. But that doesn't have to be you. You can choose the path of strength, the path that says, no matter what happens, I take full responsibility for how I live, how I act, and how I grow. That path is not easy, but it's powerful, and over time, it leads to peace. The moment you stop blaming, you begin building. You build discipline, confidence, and character. You stop seeing life as something that happens to you, and start treating it as something you shape every day. You stop living in reaction and start living in creation. You become someone others can count on, not because you're perfect, but because you are responsible. That's what real maturity looks like. Not just knowing what's right, but doing it consistently and without excuses. You don't need permission to take ownership. You don't need anyone else to validate it. You just need to decide that from this moment forward, you are responsible for your choices, your behavior, your goals, and your future. That choice, repeated daily, will change your life, not because it's easy, but because it's yours. And when you own your life, nothing can stop you, because even when things go wrong, you don't wait. You don't blame. You respond. You learn. You act. That is the mindset that moves mountains, even when no one else believes it's possible. Chapter 8. Create momentum by sticking to one habit consistently. Momentum isn't built by doing 100 things at once. It's built by doing one thing well over and over without stopping. When you try to chase too many improvements at the same time, your energy gets scattered, your focus weakens, and your progress stalls. But when you pick one habit and give it your full commitment every single day, something powerful starts to happen. You begin to move forward with quiet strength. You begin to trust yourself again. You begin to create movement that builds on itself, slowly but surely, until the results become impossible to ignore. Consistency is not about intensity. It's about direction. And the more you stay on one path, the stronger that direction becomes. Most people quit too soon, not because they're incapable, but because they switch paths too often. They start something with excitement, then stop the moment it feels boring or hard. They don't stay long enough to feel the momentum build. Every time you jump to something new, you lose the small gains you started to earn. And starting over again and again creates a cycle of frustration. That cycle can only be broken by staying the course. Not forever, not with blind loyalty, but long enough to give that one habit a real chance to shape you. One consistent habit, practiced daily, can change how you see yourself. It becomes a quiet reminder that you are capable of showing up, even when motivation fades, even when the day gets difficult, you still do it. That builds confidence, not because of the size of the action, but because of the truth it teaches you. It teaches you that you can keep a promise to yourself. That alone is worth more than any quick win or shortcut. Momentum begins with self-trust, and self-trust grows through follow-through. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a repeatable action. Something simple, something clear, something that doesn't depend on inspiration. The more consistent your habit is, the more natural it becomes. You stop arguing with yourself about whether you'll do it. You just do it. That removes the daily resistance. It frees up mental energy, and with that clarity, you can start building on top of it. One solid habit becomes the base for the next one. But without that first one in place, everything else becomes unstable. Choose a habit that matters to you, not because it's trendy or impressive, but because it supports who you want to become. Maybe it's journaling each morning to clear your thoughts. Maybe it's a short workout to strengthen your body. Maybe it's reading 10 pages to expand your mind. Maybe it's waking up at the same time same day to reclaim your discipline. The habit itself doesn't need to be huge. What matters is that you commit to it fully, and then you keep that commitment every day, no matter what. There will be days when it feels pointless, when your progress feels invisible, when the habit feels too small to matter. That's when most people quit. They don't see the result fast enough, so they assume it's not working. But the best habits don't create overnight change. They build pressure over time. They plant roots underground before anything blooms on the surface. If you abandon the process too early, you never get to see what would have happened if you stayed just a little longer. Momentum isn't a spark, it's a build-up, And that build-up only happens through consistent repetition. Your mind will try to convince you that you need more variety, more excitement, more dramatic change. But those are distractions. What you need is stability, a foundation that grounds you, a simple discipline you can return to every day. No matter what else is going on in your life, that habit becomes your anchor. It reminds you of your values. It reminds you that growth isn't always loud or fast. It's often quiet, steady, and internal, and it's that kind of growth that leads to lasting transformation. One of the greatest advantages of sticking to one habit is the structure it brings to your day. It gives you something to complete, no matter how the rest of your day unfolds. That structure creates a sense of control. When life feels chaotic, your habit is your center. It doesn't solve everything, but it reminds you that you're not powerless. You always have something you can do, something you can build, something that's fully within your control. The momentum you build from one habit spills over into other areas of life. When you consistently take care of one thing, your mind becomes sharper. Your standards rise. You become less tolerant of chaos and more drawn to clarity. You start eating better, thinking clearer, acting with more purpose. Not because you're forcing those changes, but because you're already living in alignment with progress. That's the power of momentum. It multiplies effort. It makes the next step easier because you've already been moving forward. You don't need to see the end result to keep going. You just need to believe that small repeated actions create large outcomes over time. That belief is what keeps you steady when nothing exciting is happening, when it feels like nothing is changing, because deep down you know that each day you show up, you're building strength, you're building identity, you're becoming someone who doesn't wait for the right moment. You create the right moment through action. Every single day you complete your habit, you cast a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. The more votes you cast, the clearer that identity becomes. You no longer see yourself as someone who tries, you see yourself as someone who follows through. That shift is massive. It changes how you speak, how you think, how you plan. You begin to approach life with more clarity and less hesitation. Sticking to one habit teaches you about yourself. You learn how you react to boredom, how you deal with fatigue, how you respond to setbacks. It's not just about the habit, it's about the awareness you build through the habit. You stop living on autopilot. You start paying attention to your thoughts, your reactions, your defaults. And that awareness gives you more control, more peace, more understanding. It's important to remember that consistency is not perfection. You will miss a day sometimes. Life will get in the way. But the goal is not to be flawless. The goal is to be relentless. One missed day does not break your progress. What matters is what you do next. You don't restart. You continue, learn. You return. And with that mindset, you never truly lose momentum. You simply pause and then pick it back up. As time goes on, you'll look back and realize that the results didn't come from dramatic effort. They came from the quiet decision to keep showing up, to keep doing the work even when it felt small, to keep trusting the process even when it felt slow. That kind of commitment changes you, not overnight, but deeply. And when that shift happens, you become someone who doesn't chase results, you build them. One day, one habit, one choice at a time. When others are jumping from plan to plan, you'll be moving forward on your own steady path. When others lose motivation, you'll stay grounded in discipline. When others wait for perfect conditions, you'll be working through the imperfect ones. That's the difference. That's how momentum is earned, not through bursts of inspiration, but through consistent effort that compounds over time. Your future doesn't need a miracle. It needs your daily effort. It needs one habit, done with care and repeated with conviction. That one decision to stick to it will separate you from those who talk about change and those who actually live it. Choose your habit, own it, repeat it, let it build the life you want from the inside out. Momentum is not something you wait for. It's something you create by showing up again and again, especially when no one's watching. Chapter 9. Develop resilience by welcoming discomfort with full courage. Discomfort is not something to run from. It is something to lean into with your full attention and strength. Growth is not born in comfort. It is born in the tension between who you are and who you want to become. The space in between is uncomfortable, but that is where resilience is built. Resilience does not come from easy days or smooth paths. It is formed through challenge, through resistance, through setbacks that test your resolve. If you want to grow strong, you must stop fearing discomfort and start facing it directly. You must choose not to flinch when life becomes heavy. You must train yourself to respond with calm when pressure rises. That choice, repeated every day, turns discomfort into power. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. They avoid hard conversations, difficult changes, and uncertain situations. They choose ease over effort. They choose distraction over discipline. And in doing so, they become fragile. They don't realize that by avoiding discomfort, they are avoiding growth. They stay in the same patterns, the same fears, the same limitations. They never learn what they are capable of because they never push past what is comfortable. But the people who build resilience are the ones who do the opposite. They step into discomfort willingly. They choose the harder path, not to suffer, but to sharpen themselves. They know that comfort doesn't create strength. Resistance does. Courage is not about being fearless. Courage is about acting with full intention even when the fear is present. When something makes you uncomfortable, whether it's a new challenge, an unfamiliar environment, or a moment of uncertainty, you have a choice. You can shrink away, or you can face it with a calm, steady heart. That's what builds resilience. You remind yourself that you are capable of feeling discomfort without losing control. You teach your mind that just because something feels difficult doesn't mean you need to run from it. The more you do this, the stronger you become, not only mentally, but emotionally and physically too. Discomfort reveals your limits, but it also gives you the chance to expand them. Every time you stay present in a difficult moment without backing down, you stretch your capacity, you handle more, you recover faster. You become less reactive and more grounded. This strength is not loud or visible to others. It is quiet. It lives inside you, and it gives you the ability to stay calm when others panic, to stay steady when others quit, to stay clear when others complain. That is what true resilience looks like. Not the absence of struggle, but the ability to remain centered inside it. You cannot grow resilience by thinking about it. You have to live it. You have to put yourself in situations where things don't go according to plan. You have to train your body, your mind, and your emotions to stay aligned under pressure. That means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It means doing the work even when no one is watching. It means finishing the task even when you are tired, uncertain, or afraid. These choices are simple, but they are not easy. And that is why they build resilience. You become the kind of person who doesn't need comfort to keep moving forward. Most people are waiting for things to get easier, but those who grow stop waiting. They start getting stronger. They stop hoping for lighter burdens and start building broader shoulders. They stop seeking perfect conditions and start preparing themselves to thrive in any condition. They understand that discomfort is not the enemy. It is the gym where strength is built. You can choose to avoid the discomfort of discipline and face the discomfort of regret later. Or you can face the discomfort now and build a life that you're proud of. Either way, discomfort is part of the process. The difference is whether you use it or let it use you. Welcoming discomfort also means accepting uncertainty. Life is unpredictable. You cannot plan for everything, but you can prepare your mind to meet whatever comes. You do this by releasing the need for control and anchoring yourself in what you can do. You may not control outcomes, but you can control your effort. You may not control others, but you can control your reaction. You may not control the path, but you can control how you walk it. This mental shift gives you peace in the middle of chaos. It allows you to focus not on what you feel, but on what you choose. That is how you stay resilient when the ground beneath you shifts. Resilience also means not giving up when progress is slow. It means understanding that strength is not built in sudden leaps, but in quiet persistence. Discomfort will make you doubt yourself. It will whisper that you're wasting your time, that you should stop, that you're not built for this. But you must learn to hear those thoughts without believing them. You must learn to sit with frustration without making it mean something negative about your path. Discomfort is a temporary visitor. It only becomes permanent if you quit. If you keep going, it becomes the soil for something greater. You don't need to love discomfort, but you do need to respect it. You need to understand its value. Every time you meet discomfort with full courage, you collect experience. You gain insight. You prove to yourself that you are bigger than your feelings, and that experience builds an inner strength that cannot be faked or forced. It must be earned. It must be lived. And once you have it, no one can take it from you. You walk into life with a deeper calm, a sharper mind, and a steadier heart. This doesn't mean forcing yourself to suffer. It means choosing growth over comfort when the two are in conflict. It means not retreating the moment something becomes unfamiliar or difficult. It means standing tall in situations where others shrink. And it means trusting that every time you endure, you are evolving. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing. Willing to show up when it's hard. Willing to keep your word when it's tempting to quit. Willing to face the things that most people run from. In the end, resilience is not something you are born with. It is something you earn through choices. Choices that are hard. Choices that are often invisible to others. But each one adds up. Each one builds a layer of strength that changes how you walk through life. And it all starts by changing how you see discomfort, not as a signal to stop, but as a signal to begin, not as a sign of weakness, but as a sign of growth. When you train yourself to welcome discomfort with full courage, you prepare yourself for anything. You stop being controlled by fear. You stop being limited by temporary pain. You become someone who is not just tough, but also wise. Someone who is not only strong in moments of ease, but also steady in moments of chaos. That is real resilience. It is not loud, but it is unbreakable, and it is available to anyone willing to earn it. One courageous step at a time. Chapter 10. Raise your standards by expecting more from yourself daily. Expecting more from yourself is the clearest way to raise your standards and transform your life. It starts with a decision to no longer settle for less than you deserve or what you know you can achieve. This decision pushes you to act differently every day, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. When you consistently demand more from yourself, you change your internal limits and the possibilities around you. Raising your standards is not about perfection or pressure. It's about respect for your potential and the choices you make daily to honor that potential. Most people underestimate how much their daily actions influence their future. They believe change comes from big events or external validation. But real change comes from what you expect from yourself every morning, noon and night. When you decide to show up with full effort, to speak with integrity, to keep promises to yourself, you build a new foundation. This foundation supports progress in every area: your career, your relationships, your health, and your peace of mind. Without raised standards, even good habits can become weak and unreliable. Expecting more from yourself means rejecting excuses, and excuses become the enemy of growth. It's easy to blame fatigue, lack of time, or unfavorable conditions. But when you raise your standards, you push beyond those excuses and find solutions. You prioritize what matters most and remove distractions that lower your energy or focus. You learn to say no to things that don't serve your goals. This doesn't mean ignoring self-care or being harsh with yourself. It means being clear about your values and committed to following through. When you raise your standards, you start holding yourself accountable for your thoughts as much as your actions. Negative self-talk, procrastination, and hesitation become less acceptable. You recognize that your mindset shapes your reality and you choose to guard it fiercely. This mental discipline grows over time, making you more resilient against doubt and external pressure. You become someone who doesn't just dream but plans, who doesn't just want but works, who doesn't just wish but act. That shift is powerful because it changes how you relate to yourself every moment of the day. Raising standards also means expecting consistent progress, not perfection. It's a daily practice of pushing yourself a little more than yesterday. That might look like reading an extra page, waking up 5 minutes earlier, taking a small risk, or listening more deeply in conversations. These small daily improvements accumulate and create a momentum that transforms who you are. You stop settling for comfort or mediocrity and start moving toward excellence by valuing progress over perfection. It's important to realize that raising your standards requires self-awareness. You must recognize where you've been complacent or tolerant of less than you deserve. That recognition is not meant to create guilt, but clarity. You examine the areas of your life where you allow shortcuts, distractions, or excuses to dictate your behavior. Then you decide what you want to be different. Without that clear vision, raising standards becomes random effort. With clarity, every choice aligns with the person you want to become. You also need to guard against the trap of external comparison when raising your standards. Your progress is about your own path, not anyone else's timeline or success. Expecting more from yourself means tuning out noise and focusing inward. It means measuring growth by your own benchmarks, values, and goals. This inward focus reduces frustration and increases motivation because you own your journey. You become less reactive to external opinions and more centered in your truth. Raising standards challenges your comfort zone on purpose. It asks you to do things you might resist because they feel difficult, unfamiliar, or inconvenient. This discomfort is not a sign to stop, but a signal that you're growing. Every time you push through resistance, you expand your capacity and prove to yourself what you're capable of. You stop living according to what is easy and start living according to what is possible. This shift unlocks doors that comfort never could. Expecting more from yourself daily also affects your relationships and how you show up for others. When your standards rise, you become more reliable, more honest, and more present. You don't tolerate disrespect or neglect, both from yourself and others. You learn to set boundaries that protect your time and energy. This respect creates deeper connections because you communicate clearly and act with integrity. When you raise your standards in your personal life, you raise the quality of your entire experience. One of the biggest benefits of raising your standards is how it reshapes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who settles for less or gets overwhelmed by challenges. You become someone who faces life with discipline and courage. You become someone who finishes what they start. You become the person you admire. This new identity isn't an overnight change. It's built slowly by the small decisions you make consistently. Those decisions stack up and become undeniable proof of your growth. It's natural to resist raising standards at first because it feels like giving up comfort or ease. But in reality, it's the opposite. When you expect more from yourself, you create freedom. Freedom from procrastination, frustration, and regret. Freedom from feeling stuck or powerless. You gain control over your choices and energy. This control is empowering because it gives you the ability to shape your life instead of reacting to it. You build a life that supports your goals instead of undermining them. To raise your standards, start by identifying one small area where you can improve immediately. It might be your sleep habits, your work ethic, your attitude toward exercise, or your commitment to learning. Choose one thing and make a clear, realistic promise to yourself to do it every day without fail. Track your progress honestly. Reflect on how it changes your mood, energy, and mindset. Then build on that success by adding another standard to your daily routine. Growth happens in layers. As you expect more from yourself, remember that compassion is part of raising standards. This is not about beating yourself up or demanding impossible perfection. It's about showing respect for your potential and treating yourself as someone worth the effort. You forgive mistakes quickly and learn from them. You understand that growth includes setbacks and challenges, but you never use setbacks as reasons to lower your standards. You use them as reasons to come back stronger. Eventually you will find that your higher standards create a new environment around you. Your habits improve, your mindset sharpens, and your energy grows. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach start coming your way because you're showing up differently. People respond to your new level of commitment and clarity. Your results begin to match your efforts. This feedback loop motivates you to keep raising your standards, not because you have to, but because you want to. Expecting more from yourself daily is the foundation of lifelong growth. It is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. It is what moves you from wishing for change to creating change. It is a daily practice of discipline, courage, and respect for who you are becoming. When you raise your standards, you don't just improve your life, you transform it. And that transformation begins with one decision: to expect more from yourself right now. Chapter 11. Choose growth over comfort in every tough decision. Choosing growth over comfort in every tough decision means actively prioritizing your future self over your present ease. Comfort is appealing because it requires little effort and feels safe, but it rarely leads to meaningful progress. Growth requires courage, effort, and often discomfort. When faced with difficult choices, selecting the option that challenges you, even when it's uncomfortable, is what creates lasting change. This mindset shifts your perspective from seeking short-term relief to pursuing long-term fulfillment. Each tough decision becomes a stepping stone toward a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. Most people instinctively choose comfort because it feels familiar and predictable. It avoids risk and pain, but often leads to stagnation. Settling for comfort might seem harmless, but over time, it builds a life that falls short of your potential. Choosing comfort repeatedly builds habits that protect you from discomfort, but limit your ability to adapt, grow, and excel. Growth demands that you step outside that safe zone. It asks you to face uncertainty, to take risks, and to embrace challenges. This is not easy, but it is necessary if you want to live fully and achieve your goals. Growth and comfort are rarely aligned. Comfort is about stability, ease, and sometimes avoidance. Growth is about change, effort, and facing the unknown. When you have to make tough decisions, the comfortable choice often looks like the path of least resistance. It promises less struggle in the moment, but also fewer rewards later. The growth choice demands more energy and courage up front, but offers lasting benefits. Over time, choosing growth builds your confidence, resilience, and wisdom. It creates momentum that propels you forward even when obstacles arise. One way to consistently choose growth over comfort is to clarify your values and goals. When your priorities are clear, it becomes easier to evaluate decisions through that lens. Ask yourself, which option aligns with who I want to become? This question helps you see beyond temporary feelings and focus on your long-term vision. It strengthens your resolve to face discomfort because you know it's a necessary part of the journey. When your growth is linked to your deepest values, you develop a sense of purpose that outweighs the lure of comfort. The habit of choosing growth also means embracing discomfort as a sign of progress. Discomfort often signals that you're moving beyond your current limits. Instead of fearing it, see it as a sign that you're learning and evolving. This mindset reduces resistance to change because discomfort is no longer the enemy. It becomes a signal that growth is happening. The more you welcome discomfort, the less power it has to hold you back. You build mental toughness by accepting that discomfort is temporary but growth is permanent. Growth-focused decisions require patience and persistence. The rewards don't always come immediately, which can tempt you back toward comfort. It's easy to want quick results or to return to familiar patterns, but growth is a process, often slow and invisible at first. It requires trusting the process, even when you don't see immediate payoff. Choosing growth means staying committed during setbacks, delays, and doubts. This commitment builds character and discipline, two qualities essential for lasting success. To choose growth over comfort consistently, develop self-awareness about your patterns. Notice when you default to easy choices because they feel safe or familiar. Recognize the thoughts and feelings that push you toward comfort, like fear, doubt, or fatigue. Once you identify these triggers, you can consciously pause and consider your options. Train yourself to respond rather than react. This pause creates space for intentional choice instead of automatic avoidance. Over time, this practice rewires your brain to prefer growth. Another important aspect is building a support system that encourages growth. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, hold you accountable, and inspire you to do better. When you feel tempted to choose comfort, hearing stories and encouragement from others who have chosen growth can give you strength. A community of like-minded individuals provides motivation and perspective. It reminds you that growth is a shared struggle and victory, not a lonely battle. Choosing growth over comfort also improves your decision-making skills. Each tough decision becomes practice in evaluating risks, rewards, and alignment with your goals. You develop clarity about what matters most and what doesn't. This clarity helps you avoid distractions and focus on meaningful actions. It sharpens your intuition and builds confidence in your ability to navigate complexity. Growth is not just about external achievements. It's about becoming someone who makes wise, intentional choices under pressure. This mindset influences how you handle failure and setbacks as well. When you choose growth, failure is reframed as feedback, not defeat. Discomfort from failure becomes a learning opportunity instead of a reason to quit. You become more willing to try new things, take risks, and adapt your approach. This flexibility accelerates progress and reduces fear of the unknown. Growth-oriented people see setbacks as temporary detours, not dead ends. To build this habit, start by identifying one area where you tend to choose comfort over growth. It might be procrastination, avoiding difficult conversations, or sticking to familiar routines. Commit to making one growth-focused decision in that area this week. Notice how it feels to push past discomfort and what you learn from the experience. Reflect on the difference it makes to prioritize growth even in small moments. Over time, these choices accumulate and reshape your mindset and behavior. Remember that growth doesn't mean abandoning self-care or ignoring your limits. It means recognizing that true growth involves balance, pushing yourself while respecting your well-being. Sometimes choosing growth means resting, reflecting, or asking for help. It's not about relentless pressure, but intentional effort. Growth respects your humanity and requires kindness alongside discipline. When you combine courage with compassion, you create sustainable progress that honors your whole self. Choosing growth over comfort transforms your relationship with life's challenges. You move from resistance to acceptance, from avoidance to engagement, from fear to curiosity. This transformation changes how you experience discomfort. It becomes less threatening and more like a signal to explore new possibilities. You develop a mindset that thrives on challenge instead of shrinking from it. This mindset opens doors that comfort never could. Ultimately, growth is a daily practice, not a destination. Every tough decision is an opportunity to strengthen your commitment to growth. Each time you choose growth over comfort, you build a life of purpose, resilience, and achievement. You become someone who doesn't wait for the right moment, but creates it through choice. You prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you imagined. And with each choice, you move closer to the life you want and deserve. Chapter 12. Track your progress by reviewing each day honestly. Tracking your progress by reviewing each day honestly is one of the most powerful tools for continuous improvement and personal growth. It creates a clear picture of where you are, what you did well, and where you can improve. This practice brings awareness to your actions and decisions, preventing you from drifting through life on autopilot. Honest daily review gives you a chance to course correct quickly, rather than waiting until months or years later to realize you have strayed from your goals. It turns vague intentions into specific, measurable steps that move you forward. Reviewing your day requires commitment and discipline. It can feel uncomfortable at first because it forces you to confront your failures, distractions, and wasted time. But that discomfort is necessary for growth. Without honest reflection, it's easy to justify excuses and continue habits that don't serve you. When you take the time to honestly evaluate your actions and mindset, you build clarity and responsibility. This clarity frees you from self-deception and denial, allowing you to make real progress instead of hoping things will improve on their own. Honesty is the foundation of effective review. It's tempting to sugarcoat your day or focus only on what went well. While recognizing wins is important, it's equally crucial to acknowledge what didn't work. This includes mistakes, procrastination, emotional reactions, and missed opportunities. Seeing these clearly gives you insight into patterns that limit your growth. When you face your shortcomings without judgment, you open the door to change. Self-honesty creates a powerful inner dialogue where you become your own trusted mentor instead of your harshest critic or your softest excuse maker. To make daily review effective, create a simple routine that fits your lifestyle. This might be 5 minutes at the end of each day to write or mentally reflect on 3 key questions. What did I accomplish today? What challenges did I face? What can I improve tomorrow? The questions keep your reflection focused and actionable. Keeping it brief prevents overwhelm and builds the habit of regular review. Consistency is more important than depth at first. Over time, your reflections will deepen naturally as you become more aware of your progress and obstacles. Tracking progress also requires clear goals or standards to measure against. If you don't know what you want or expect, your review can become aimless. Setting clear intentions each morning or week gives your daily review context. When you check in honestly, you compare your actions with your goals. This comparison shows how aligned your habits are with your vision. It highlights where adjustments are needed and where you're on track. This feedback loop is essential for focused growth and avoids wasted effort. An honest daily review sharpens your decision-making. It helps you identify choices that supported your progress and those that didn't. You start noticing patterns of behavior that either help or hinder your goal. For example, you might discover that checking social media during work breaks wastes more time than you realized, or that exercising first thing in the morning gives you energy for the entire day. This awareness empowers you to tweak your routine and environment for better results. Over time, you make smarter decisions effortless because your habits align with your priorities. Daily review also strengthens your emotional intelligence. When you honestly assess your feelings, reactions, and mindset, you develop greater self-awareness. You learn to recognize stress triggers, negative thoughts, or moments of motivation. This emotional insight allows you to respond to challenges calmly instead of reacting impulsively. You become more in control of your inner world, which improves your relationships, focus, and resilience. Tracking your emotional patterns is as important as tracking your external actions because both impact your growth. Many people avoid daily review because it feels like self-judgment or failure focus. But it doesn't have to be that way. The key is to approach your reflection with curiosity and kindness. Instead of criticizing yourself for what went wrong, ask what you can learn from it. See each day as valuable data for your growth journey. This mindset reduces fear and defensiveness, making review a positive experience. It turns reflection into a tool for empowerment rather than a source of shame. Recording your daily review, either by journaling or digital notes, increases accountability and clarity. Writing slows down your thoughts and makes your reflections concrete. It allows you to track progress over weeks and months, revealing trends and breakthroughs that might otherwise go unnoticed. Reviewing past entries reminds you of how far you've come, boosting motivation. It also helps you identify persistent obstacles that need new strategies. The act of writing creates a dialogue with yourself that deepens understanding and commitment. Daily review creates momentum by celebrating small wins regularly. Recognizing your progress, no matter how small, builds confidence and motivation. It reminds you that growth is happening even if it feels slow. This positive reinforcement helps you stay consistent and resilient during setbacks. When you see progress clearly, you are less likely to give up or get distracted. You become committed to the process because you trust it works. Honest daily review helps you avoid burnout by allowing timely course correction. When you notice signs of overwhelm, fatigue, or stress, you can adjust your workload or routine. This prevents frustration and loss of motivation. It also teaches you to respect your limits while pushing for improvement. You learn the balance between effort and rest that supports sustainable growth. Without daily reflection, you risk pushing too hard or too little, both of which slow progress. As your habit of daily review grows, you'll find yourself more focused and intentional throughout the day. Knowing that you will evaluate your actions at day's end creates natural accountability. It motivates you to prioritize meaningful tasks and reduce distractions. Your awareness of your goals and standards strengthens, guiding your choices continuously. This ongoing feedback loop enhances your productivity and clarity. Daily honest review also improves your ability to set realistic goals. As you reflect on your achievements and challenges, you gain better insight into what is feasible and what needs adjustment. This prevents setting yourself up for failure or frustration. It encourages you to break larger goals into manageable steps. By aligning your expectations with reality, you build confidence and momentum. Reviewing your day honestly cultivates humility. It teaches you to accept imperfection while striving for progress. You become comfortable acknowledging mistakes without letting them define you. This humility opens you up to learning and growth because you stay curious and adaptable. You understand that mastery is a process, not a destination, and you embrace the journey with patience. In time, honest daily review becomes a natural part of your routine, that supports lifelong self-improvement. It builds a foundation of awareness, discipline, and accountability that enables you to handle bigger challenges. You develop a deeper connection with yourself and your purpose. This connection fuels motivation and resilience because your actions align with your values and vision. Tracking your progress by reviewing each day honestly is not about perfection. It's about commitment to truth and growth. It's about being your own ally in a world that often encourages distraction and denial. The simple act of looking back with honesty turns your life into a continuous learning experience. It transforms mistakes into lessons, distractions into insights, and effort into achievement. When you review your day honestly, you gain the power to shape your future one choice at a time. Chapter 13. Act confidently, even when the results are delayed. Confidence is a choice you make every day, especially when the results you seek are not immediately visible. Acting confidently despite delays in outcome is a skill that separates those who achieve their goals from those who give up too soon. It requires trust in your process, faith in your efforts, and the ability to remain steady when external validation is absent. This approach builds inner strength and keeps momentum alive, even when progress feels invisible or slow. Confidence is not about arrogance or certainty in every moment. It's about the willingness to move forward with belief in your ability and purpose, regardless of timing. Many people struggle with confidence when they do not see quick results. This is natural because humans tend to seek immediate feedback to validate their actions. Without visible proof of success, doubt creeps in and motivation fades. The challenge is to develop a mindset that values effort and persistence over instant outcomes. This means learning to separate your worth and identity from immediate achievements. Confidence grows when you focus on the work you put in, rather than on how fast or how much recognition you receive. Acting with certainty in the absence of clear results shows maturity and long-term vision. Delayed results are common in all meaningful endeavors. Building a career, improving health, mastering a skill, or creating strong relationships all take time. Success is often the culmination of many small actions compounded over weeks, months, or years. Acting confidently during this waiting period prevents frustration and discouragement. It keeps you aligned with your goals and encourages you to maintain discipline. The wait is not wasted time, but an essential part of the process where groundwork is laid for future breakthroughs. Patience combined with confident action creates unstoppable momentum. Confidence in the face of delayed results requires a strong internal compass. You must have clear values and a purpose that guides your actions, regardless of immediate feedback. This internal clarity anchors your confidence and keeps you focused on what truly matters. When you know why you're doing something, the absence of instant reward becomes less discouraging. Purpose turns effort into meaningful progress and delays into opportunities for deeper learning. Acting with confidence means trusting this inner guide rather than external outcome. One way to cultivate confidence during delays is to celebrate small wins and incremental progress. Even if the big results have not arrived, recognize the effort you're making and the improvements you can measure. These small successes build positive momentum and reinforce your belief in the process. They remind you that progress is happening beneath the surface. Tracking these wins helps you stay motivated and confident, preventing impatience from undermining your journey. Another important aspect is managing your expectations. Understand that delays are normal and inevitable in any worthwhile pursuit. This awareness prevents frustration and self-doubt from taking over when results are slow. Accepting delays as part of growth allows you to maintain confidence and resilience. Instead of feeling stuck, you see delays as times to refine your skills, build character, and prepare for future success. This mindset transforms waiting into a period of active growth rather than passive frustration. Acting confidently during delayed results also means continuing to show up and do the work consistently. Confidence is reinforced by action. Every time you commit to your routine, push through resistance, and honor your goals, you prove to yourself that you can trust your efforts. This consistency builds a track record of reliability that strengthens self-belief. You stop relying on external validation and develop a sense of self-trust. Confidence becomes a habit formed through daily commitment, not just a feeling that comes and goes. It's natural to feel vulnerable when outcomes are uncertain. Confidence does not mean the absence of fear or doubt. It means acting despite those feelings. Courage and confidence go hand in hand. When you feel unsure, choose to move forward anyway. This choice builds courage muscle that grows stronger with every act of faith. Acting with confidence in uncertain times creates a feedback loop where your actions increase your belief in yourself. Over time, this transforms hesitation into boldness. Surrounding yourself with supportive people also helps maintain confidence during delays. Find mentors, peers, or friends who encourage your growth and remind you of your potential. Their support can buffer against discouragement and provide perspective when progress is hard to see. Sharing your journey with others who understand the value of persistence creates a sense of community and accountability. This network becomes a source of strength that uplifts your confidence even in challenging moments. Visualizing your success can also reinforce confidence when results are delayed. Imagine yourself having already achieved your goals, feeling the satisfaction and pride of your efforts. Visualization aligns your emotions with your intentions and primes your brain to notice opportunities that support your progress. It strengthens your commitment and reduces anxiety about uncertainty. When you combine visualization with consistent action, you create a powerful cycle of motivation and confidence. Maintaining confidence during delays requires self-compassion as well. Be gentle with yourself when progress feels slow or setbacks occur. Recognize that growth is not linear and that everyone faces obstacles. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding, encouraging yourself as you would a close friend. This compassionate attitude reduces negative self-talk and keeps your confidence intact. When you forgive yourself and learn from challenges, your confidence becomes more resilient. It's important to focus on what you can control when results are delayed. You cannot always influence timing or external circumstances, but you can control your effort, attitude, and choices. Confidence grows when you direct your energy toward what is within your power, rather than wasting it on worry or frustration. This focus on controllable factors increases your effectiveness and reduces anxiety. Acting confidently means accepting uncertainty but choosing to act with purpose anyway. Building confidence in delayed results also requires patience with yourself and the process. Understand that lasting success takes time and that rushing often leads to mistakes or burnout. Patience is an active quality that allows you to persist without losing enthusiasm or commitment. It creates space for growth and adaptation. When you combine patience with confident action, you create steady progress that compounds over time. This steady progress is more sustainable and rewarding than sudden bursts of effort, followed by burnout. You can strengthen your confidence by learning from past experiences where delayed results eventually led to success. Reflect on moments in your life when perseverance paid off even though immediate rewards were absent. These memories remind you that your current situation is temporary and that persistence works. This perspective builds trust in your ability to endure challenges and keep moving forward. Confidence deepens when grounded in experience and evidence rather than wishful thinking. Acting confidently, even when results are delayed, requires a mindset shift from outcome-based validation to effort-based identity. Instead of defining yourself by achievements or recognition, define yourself by your commitment, values, and character. This shift reduces dependency on external approval and strengthens your self-worth. It creates a stable foundation that holds you steady during uncertainty. When your confidence is rooted in who you are and what you stand for, it becomes unshakable. Confidence also grows when you continuously develop your skills and knowledge. Use delays as opportunities to improve and prepare for future success. Learning new strategies, gaining deeper understanding, and refining your approach builds competence and self-assurance. This ongoing growth reduces fear and increases your readiness to seize opportunities when they arise. Acting confidently means being proactive in your development and viewing delays as times to get stronger. Finally, remember that confidence is contagious. When you act with certainty despite delayed results, you inspire others and create a positive ripple effect. Your steadfastness encourages those around you to keep going in their own journeys. This influence builds a supportive environment where growth and persistence are valued. Confidence becomes not only a personal asset, but a gift to your community. Acting confidently when results are delayed is a powerful practice that transforms how you face challenges. It turns uncertainty into opportunity, fear into courage, and waiting into preparation. By trusting your efforts, focusing on growth, and maintaining steady action, you create a foundation for lasting success. Confidence becomes a choice that sustains you through delays and propels you toward your goals, no matter how long the journey takes. Chapter 14. Protect your peace by avoiding toxic people completely. Protecting your peace by avoiding toxic people completely is an essential act of self-care and personal growth. Peace is not just a luxury. It is the foundation on which your happiness, productivity, and well-being are built. Toxic people drain your energy, cloud your judgment, and distract you from your goals. They create chaos and unrest in your mind, making it difficult to focus and thrive. Choosing to distance yourself from such negative influences is a powerful way to safeguard your mental and emotional health. This choice allows you to create a calm environment where growth and clarity can flourish. Recognizing toxic people is the first step in protecting your peace. Toxicity often shows up as constant criticism, manipulation, jealousy, or a lack of respect for your boundaries. These behaviors wear down your confidence and create stress. It's easy to make excuses for toxic behavior, especially when it comes from family, friends, or colleagues. However, tolerance only enables further harm. Protecting your peace means being honest about who adds value to your life and who takes it away. It requires courage to say no to people who disrupt your mental calm and well-being. Avoiding toxic people does not mean you are being selfish or unkind. It means you are prioritizing your health and sanity. When you surround yourself with negativity, it's harder to maintain a positive mindset and productive habits. Toxic relationships consume your time and emotional energy, leaving little left for your own growth. Setting clear boundaries or cutting ties with toxic individuals creates space for healthier connections and personal development. This action is a form of self-respect that honors your need for peace and progress. The impact of toxic people extends beyond immediate interactions. Their negativity can infiltrate your thoughts and feelings long after an encounter. This lingering effect disrupts your focus and drains your motivation. Protecting your peace means taking control of what influences your inner world. Avoiding toxic people reduces emotional clutter and mental noise. It allows your mind to rest, recharge, and operate at its best. When your environment supports peace, you become more resilient and clear-headed, better equipped to handle challenges. Avoidance requires deliberate choices and sometimes difficult conversation. It may feel uncomfortable to distance yourself from people you once trusted or cared about, but discomfort in setting boundaries is temporary compared to the long-term benefits of peace. Communicating your limits clearly and calmly helps prevent misunderstanding. If others respect you, they will honor your need for space. If they do not, their reaction reveals their true nature, confirming your decision to protect yourself. Standing firm in your boundaries cultivates self-confidence and reinforces your commitment to peace. Protecting your peace also means managing your exposure to toxic influences in indirect ways. This includes limiting time spent on social media or in environments where negativity thrives. Online spaces can harbor criticism, drama, and comparison that harm your mental health. Curating your digital environment to focus on uplifting and supportive content helps maintain a positive mindset. Similarly, avoiding gossip or negative conversations in person reduces unnecessary stress. Your peace depends on what you allow into your mental space, so choose inputs carefully. Building a circle of positive and supportive people is crucial to maintaining your peace. Surrounding yourself with those who encourage your growth, celebrate your wins, and listen without judgment creates a protective shield. These relationships energize you and inspire you to be your best self. The contrast between positive connections and toxic ones highlights the value of peace in your life. Investing in nurturing these healthy relationships amplifies your well-being and motivates you to keep toxic influences at bay. It's important to recognize that protecting your peace is an ongoing process. Toxic people and negative influences can appear unexpectedly, especially in stressful times. Developing awareness and self-check-ins helps you notice when your peace is being threatened. Pay attention to feelings of anxiety, exhaustion, or irritability after interactions. These are signals that your boundaries may have been crossed or that negativity has entered your space. Taking prompt action to restore peace prevents these influences from taking root and causing lasting damage. Practicing self-care is integral to protecting your peace. When you nurture your physical, emotional, and mental health, you strengthen your ability to resist toxic influences. Regular rest, exercise, healthy nutrition, and mindfulness practices build resilience. A strong foundation of self-care makes you less vulnerable to the draining effects of toxic people. It also sharpens your intuition, helping you identify toxicity more quickly. Self-care is both a defense and a proactive step toward lasting peace. Choosing to avoid toxic people empowers you to reclaim control over your life. It sends a message that you will not accept anything less than respect, kindness, and support. This empowerment reduces feelings of helplessness and frustration that toxic relationships often cause. You gain clarity about your values and priorities, which strengthens your decision-making. Protecting your peace becomes an act of freedom that allows you to focus on what truly matters to you. Learning to let go of toxic relationships also involves forgiveness, not necessarily toward others, but toward yourself. You may have tolerated negativity out of loyalty, fear, or hope for change. Forgiving yourself for past choices removes guilt and regret that can weigh heavily on your peace. This forgiveness opens space for growth and new beginnings. It helps you move forward with confidence and without emotional baggage. It's important to maintain empathy without sacrificing your peace. Understanding that toxic people may be struggling with their own pain does not require you to endure their behavior. Compassion can coexist with firm boundaries. Recognizing this balance allows you to stay kind without being vulnerable to harm. Protecting your peace means honoring your needs while respecting others' journeys. Avoiding toxic people also means being selective with your time and energy. Your resources are limited and valuable, Spending them on relationships that uplift rather than drain you maximizes your potential. Time invested in positive connections multiplies your happiness and effectiveness. This selective approach builds a network of trust and encouragement that supports your growth long-term. Practicing mindfulness and presence further protects your peace. When you stay grounded in the present moment, you become less reactive to external negativity. Mindfulness creates a buffer between stimulus and response, allowing you to choose how to engage with difficult people or situations. This practice increases emotional regulation and reduces stress. By cultivating calm awareness, you shield your peace from unnecessary disturbance. Protecting your peace by avoiding toxic people is a radical form of self-love. It requires clear boundaries, honest self-assessment, and the courage to act decisively. The rewards are profound: increased mental clarity, emotional balance, and the freedom to pursue your goals without distraction. Your peace becomes a source of strength that supports every area of your life. It is the soil where your best self can grow and flourish. Ultimately, you have the power to choose who occupies your inner circle and your mind. Protecting your peace means exercising this power daily. It means saying no to negativity, refusing to engage in drama, and walking away from relationships that harm you. This choice honors your journey and preserves your energy for what truly matters. Peace is not passive, it is an active decision to nurture your well-being and create a life filled with calm, purpose, and joy. Chapter 15. Stay grounded by focusing only on what you control. Staying grounded by focusing only on what you control is a vital practice that brings clarity, peace, and effectiveness into your daily life. Much of the stress and frustration people experience comes from trying to manage things outside their influence. Worrying about other people's choices, unexpected events, or outcomes you cannot change pulls your energy away from meaningful action. When you center your attention on what is within your control, your thoughts, actions, attitudes, you reclaim your power and reduce needless anxiety. This focus creates a solid foundation for growth and resilience because it anchors you in reality rather than in endless possibilities or fears. Understanding what you can control begins with awareness. It requires examining your thoughts and behaviors honestly to identify areas where you have influence. You cannot control others' opinions, the past, or how situations unfold, but you can control your reactions, decisions, and efforts. This distinction is simple yet profound. It transforms overwhelm into manageable steps. When faced with uncertainty, reminding yourself to act on what you can change creates a clear path forward. This mindset shifts your energy from frustration and helplessness to focused action. Focusing only on what you control improves decision-making. Instead of wasting time trying to predict or force outcomes, you concentrate on your role and responsibilities. This clarity allows you to prioritize tasks that genuinely move you toward your goals. It reduces distraction caused by factors beyond your reach. As a result, your efforts become more efficient and effective. By eliminating the noise of uncontrollable elements, your mind can operate with precision and calm. This focus builds confidence because you know you are doing your best with what you have. Practicing control over your reactions is one of the most immediate ways to stay grounded. While external events may trigger strong emotions, you have the choice in how you respond. This choice shapes your experience and influence. For example, when someone criticizes you unfairly, you can choose to respond calmly or react defensively. Exercising this control prevents emotional escalation and protects your peace. It strengthens your resilience by training you to face challenges with composure. Over time, managing your responses becomes second nature, helping you stay steady even in turmoil. Setting boundaries is another way to focus on what you control. Boundaries clarify what behavior you accept from others and protect your time and energy. When you communicate and uphold your limits clearly, you prevent external factors from overwhelming you. This act reinforces your autonomy and keeps distractions at bay. It also signals respect for your priorities. By managing how others impact you, you maintain focus on your own goals without being pulled off course by unnecessary drama or demands. Letting go of the need to control outcomes is essential to staying grounded. While it's natural to desire success or approval, clinging to specific results causes stress when things don't go as planned. Accepting that outcomes depend on many factors outside your control allows you to focus fully on your effort. This acceptance does not mean passivity but rather trusting the process and remaining adaptable. When you release attachment to results, you free yourself from anxiety and disappointment. You become open to unexpected opportunities and growth. Mindfulness practices support focusing on controllable elements by anchoring you in the present moment. When your mind wanders to worries about the future or regrets about the past, mindfulness helps bring your attention back to what you can do now. This present moment awareness cultivates clarity and calm. It stops the cycle of rumination and distraction. Incorporating simple habits such as mindful breathing or brief pauses throughout the day trains your mind to stay focused on immediate tasks and choices. This grounded awareness is a powerful antidote to overwhelm. Prioritizing your energy on controllable habits leads to sustained growth. Small daily actions like setting goals, managing time, maintaining health, and learning new skills are within your control and compound into significant results. When you invest in these habits consistently, you build momentum that propels you forward. This steady progress creates a sense of mastery and confidence. The satisfaction from owning your daily efforts strengthens your commitment to stay grounded and focused on what matters. Focusing on controllables also means managing your expectations realistically. Unrealistic expectations about control lead to frustration and burnout. Understanding that some factors are inherently uncertain helps you adjust your goals and plans flexibly. This adaptability increases your ability to handle setbacks without losing composure. You become more resourceful and less reactive. Realistic expectations combined with action on controllables create a balanced approach that sustains motivation and well-being. Developing self-awareness is critical in maintaining focus on what you can control. Reflecting on your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors regularly helps you recognize when you drift into worrying about uncontrollable things. This self-check allows you to reset your focus and realign your energy. Journaling, meditation, or honest conversations with trusted friends can deepen this awareness. The more attuned you become to your inner state, the easier it is to redirect attention to actionable steps. Self-awareness acts as a compass that guides you toward grounded living. Cultivating patience supports this focus by reminding you that results take time and external factors cannot be rushed. Patience helps you accept delays and obstacles without losing sight of your role in the process. It prevents impatience from pushing you into futile attempts to control the uncontrollable. When you combine patience with focus on your actions, you build a steady rhythm that sustains your growth. This rhythm balances effort with acceptance, creating resilience in the face of uncertainty. Choosing to focus only on what you control empowers you to set clear intentions and maintain discipline. When distractions or negative influences arise, your sense of control helps you stay on track. You learn to say no to activities, people, or thoughts that do not serve your goals. This selective focus sharpens your effectiveness and protects your mental energy. It also builds confidence because you are actively shaping your experience rather than reacting passively. Recognizing the limits of your control encourages collaboration and seeking support. Understanding that you cannot do everything alone or control every aspect helps you delegate, ask for help, and build partnerships. This humility and openness improve your ability to manage complex challenges. Collaborating with others who complement your strengths expands your influence while keeping your focus on your core responsibilities. This balance between control and cooperation is essential for sustainable success. Staying grounded by focusing on controllable factors nurtures emotional stability. When you stop wasting energy on uncontrollable worries, your mood stabilizes and anxiety diminishes. This emotional balance creates a clearer mind and stronger willpower. You become less reactive to external chaos and more resilient to setbacks. This inner stability allows you to make wiser decisions and maintain consistent effort toward your goals. Focusing on what you control enhances your sense of freedom and reduces helplessness. Many people feel overwhelmed because they believe they must manage everything around them. Letting go of this illusion lightens your burden and opens space for meaningful action. This shift increases your sense of agency and satisfaction. You live intentionally rather than being tossed by circumstances. Freedom rooted in control over your choices leads to a more fulfilling and peaceful life. Finally, staying grounded by focusing only on what you control aligns with timeless wisdom from philosophy and psychology. It echoes teachings that emphasize acceptance, responsibility, and presence. Applying this principle daily transforms how you experience challenges and opportunities. It helps you build a resilient mindset that endures setbacks and thrives in uncertainty. This grounded approach to life is a cornerstone for lasting happiness and achievement. In summary, focusing on what you control is a powerful practice that brings clarity, peace, and effectiveness. It requires awareness, discipline, patience, and self-compassion. By centering your energy on your thoughts, actions, and attitudes, you reclaim your power and reduce stress. This focus enables steady progress, better decision-making, and emotional stability. It frees you from the burden of trying to manage the uncontrollable and creates a life grounded in reality and purpose. Staying grounded through this focus is a daily commitment that leads to meaningful growth and lasting success. Chapter 16. Visualize your future clearly to stay motivated daily. Visualizing your future clearly is a powerful tool to maintain motivation and direction in your daily life. When you create a vivid picture of the life you want, your mind aligns with that vision and fuels your commitment to take consistent action. Clarity in your future goals acts as a compass that guides your decisions, prioritizes your efforts, and ignites your passion even on difficult days. Visualization is not wishful thinking, but a practical method to strengthen your focus, build resilience, and maintain momentum. It connects your present efforts to meaningful outcomes, making every step purposeful and energizing. To begin visualizing your future clearly, start by defining what success means to you personally. This means going beyond generic ideas and identifying specific goals that resonate deeply with your values and desires. Your vision should include tangible details about how you want your life to look, feel, and function. Consider aspects like your career, relationships, health, personal growth, and contribution to others. The clearer and more detailed your vision, the stronger its impact on your motivation. This detailed mental picture creates an emotional connection that inspires persistent effort. Visualization works best when it involves all your senses. Instead of just imagining outcomes in a vague way, engage your mind fully by picturing sights, sounds, smells, textures, and emotions related to your future success. For example, imagine the feeling of satisfaction when you achieve a goal, the environment around you, the people who celebrate with you, and the sense of pride in your accomplishments. This sensory richness makes your vision feel real and attainable. The brain responds to vivid images and emotions as if they were actual experiences, reinforcing your commitment to your goals. Regularly spending time to visualize your future helps keep your focus sharp and your energy high. When motivation wanes or challenges arise, returning to this mental rehearsal reminds you why your efforts matter. It reconnects you to the bigger picture and the rewards of perseverance. Visualization becomes a mental reset that restores clarity and determination. By making it a daily habit, you create a strong foundation for sustained motivation that supports you through ups and downs. Creating a vision board or journal can enhance your visualization practice by providing a physical representation of your future goal. Collect images, words and symbols that represent your aspirations and place them where you will see them often. This constant exposure reinforces your vision and makes it easier to recall and focus on during the day. Writing about your desired future in detail helps clarify your intentions and uncover new insights. These tangible tools complement mental visualization by anchoring your goals in your environment. Visualization also strengthens your belief in your ability to succeed. By repeatedly imagining yourself overcoming obstacles and reaching your goals, you train your mind to expect success. This expectation builds confidence and reduces fear of failure. It prepares you emotionally and mentally for the effort required. When you visualize success, you activate the same brain pathways involved in actual achievement, making your actions more effective. This mental rehearsal builds readiness and reduces self-doubt, which can otherwise stall progress. Combining visualization with goal setting creates a powerful synergy. While goals outline what you want to accomplish, visualization energizes the process by connecting your daily work to future rewards. Use your clear vision to set specific, measurable and time-bound goals. Then imagine the steps needed to reach each milestone and how achieving them will feel. This combination turns abstract ambitions into concrete plans and daily motivation. Visualization keeps your goals alive and urgent, preventing procrastination and discouragement. Visualization is also a tool for problem-solving and adaptation. When you face setbacks, imagining alternative paths and solutions helps maintain optimism and creativity. This mental flexibility prevents discouragement and opens new opportunities. Seeing yourself navigating challenges with calm and skill empowers you to respond effectively. Visualization trains your brain to anticipate obstacles and develop strategies proactively, strengthening resilience. Avoiding vague or negative images during visualization is crucial. Focus on positive, empowering and realistic scenes that inspire you. Imagining failure or difficulty without solutions can increase anxiety and reduce motivation. Keep your vision constructive and forward-looking. If negative thoughts arise, gently redirect your mind to your desired outcomes and the feelings associated with success. This positive focus nurtures a growth mindset and sustains momentum. Practicing gratitude alongside visualization amplifies its benefits. Acknowledge the progress you have made and the resources you have now. Gratitude grounds your vision in reality and balances ambition with contentment. It reduces impatience and fosters patience in your journey. When you appreciate your present while visualizing your future, you create harmony between what is and what can be. Sharing your vision with trusted friends or mentors strengthens your commitment. Verbalizing your goals and dreams makes them more tangible and creates accountability. Supportive people can encourage you and offer valuable feedback or assistance. This external reinforcement complements your internal visualization and builds a supportive network. The shared energy keeps your motivation high and your vision clear. Visualization can also improve your focus during the day by serving as a mental anchor. When distractions arise, recalling your clear future vision helps you return to your priorities. This quick mental check prevents you from drifting away from your goals. It reminds you of the purpose behind your daily tasks and decisions. This alignment increases productivity and satisfaction. As your vision evolves, update your mental images to reflect new insights and goals. Life changes, and your vision should adapt accordingly. Regularly revisiting and refining your future picture keeps it relevant and inspiring. This ongoing process encourages continuous growth and prevents stagnation. By keeping your vision fresh and dynamic, you maintain enthusiasm and direction. Visualization is not a substitute for hard work, but a catalyst that fuels it. The clarity and motivation it provides must be paired with consistent action. Visualizing your future clearly creates the mindset needed to overcome obstacles and persist. It aligns your intentions with your efforts and helps you stay focused on what matters. This combination of mental clarity and practical effort produces meaningful progress and lasting success. In conclusion, visualizing your future clearly is an essential practice for maintaining daily motivation. It provides a vivid and emotionally compelling picture of your goals that guides your decisions and energizes your effort. Engaging your senses using tangible tools, combining with goal setting, and practicing gratitude enhance the power of visualization. This practice strengthens your belief, focus, and resilience, making your journey more purposeful and rewarding. Visualization connects your present actions with your desired outcomes, keeping you inspired and grounded through every step of your growth. Chapter 17. Upgrade your environment to match your highest goals. Upgrading your environment to match your highest goals is a critical step toward achieving lasting success and personal fulfillment. The spaces you occupy, the people you interact with, and the habits you cultivate all form the context in which your goals take shape. When your environment supports your aspirations, it naturally encourages productivity, focus, and motivation. Conversely, an environment that conflicts with your ambitions creates unnecessary obstacles, distractions, and self-doubt. By intentionally shaping your surroundings, you align your daily life with the vision you hold for yourself, making it easier to pursue your highest potential. The first aspect of upgrading your environment is evaluating the physical spaces where you spend your time. This includes your home, workspace, and places you frequent. An organized, clean, and inspiring physical environment reduces stress and helps you concentrate. Clutter and disarray drain mental energy and cloud your thinking. Creating a space that reflects your goals fosters clarity and purpose. For instance, a dedicated area for work or study signals to your brain that it is time to focus. Adding meaningful objects, such as motivational quotes or visual reminders of your goals, can serve as constant encouragement. This physical upgrade supports habits that contribute to your progress. Surrounding yourself with people who share or support your vision is another vital element of upgrading your environment. The attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors of those around you influence your mindset and action. If your social circle is negative, complacent, or unsupportive, it will be difficult to maintain motivation and self-belief. Choosing to spend more time with individuals who challenge you to grow, who celebrate your achievements, and who offer constructive feedback builds a positive environment. These relationships serve as a source of encouragement, accountability, and inspiration. Upgrading your social environment means investing in connections that elevate your aspirations rather than diminish them. Your digital environment also plays a significant role in shaping your focus and mindset. The content you consume through social media, news, and entertainment affects your thoughts and emotions. Consuming excessive negativity, distractions, or unproductive content undermines your energy and determination. Curating your digital spaces to include educational resources, motivational material, and content aligned with your goals nourishes your mind. Limiting time spent on platforms that lead to comparison, envy, or distraction protects your mental clarity. Thoughtfully managing your online environment helps maintain a positive and growth-oriented mindset. Upgrading your environment includes cultivating habits that reinforce your goals. Habits are the daily actions that compound into results over time. An environment that supports positive habits makes it easier to stay consistent. For example, placing a water bottle within reach encourages hydration, while keeping workout clothes visible promotes exercise. Eliminating temptations, such as junk food or unnecessary devices, removes friction that can lead to distraction or procrastination. Structuring your day with routines that align with your goals creates a rhythm that sustains momentum. Your environment should work with you, not against you, in developing these habits. Financial environment is another important area to consider when aligning your surroundings with your highest goals. Managing your money wisely, reducing debt, and planning for the future creates stability and freedom to pursue your ambitions. A chaotic financial situation generates stress that distracts from personal growth. Creating a budget, saving and investing in your education or health are ways to upgrade your financial environment. This creates a foundation that supports long-term success and reduces anxiety about resources. When your financial environment is in order, your energy can focus on meaningful progress rather than survival. Time management is part of your environment as well. How you allocate and protect your time directly affects your ability to achieve your goals. Upgrading this aspect means identifying priorities, setting boundaries, and eliminating time-wasting activities. Scheduling focused work sessions, rest periods, and time for reflection creates balance and productivity. Saying no to commitments that do not align with your goals preserves your energy for what matters most. Time is a resource that shapes every outcome, and managing it well is essential for a supportive environment. Your mindset and emotional environment must also be nurtured in this upgrade. Cultivating a positive internal dialogue, practicing gratitude, and developing resilience create a fertile ground for growth. Surrounding yourself with reminders of your strengths and progress enhances self-confidence. Engaging in regular self-reflection helps you identify limiting beliefs or fears that hold you back. Addressing these internal factors is as important as changing external circumstances. A healthy mindset interacts with your surroundings to reinforce motivation and commitment. Physical health and wellness contribute significantly to your ability to pursue high goals. An environment that encourages healthy eating, regular movement, and sufficient rest enhances your energy and mental clarity. Access to nutritious food, safe spaces for exercise, and routines that prioritize sleep are all part of this environment. Ignoring these factors creates unnecessary barriers to performance and well-being. Upgrading your environment means making choices that support your body's needs so you can operate at your best consistently. Creating accountability systems is a practical way to maintain an environment aligned with your goals. This may involve partnering with mentors, joining groups with shared interests, or tracking your progress publicly. Accountability provides external motivation and feedback, which reinforce commitment. It transforms vague intentions into concrete responsibilities. An environment where your progress is observed and encouraged makes it harder to abandon your goals. This structure supports perseverance during challenging times. Adapting your environment as your goals evolve is important to prevent stagnation. As you grow, your needs and ambitions change, and your surroundings should reflect this. Regularly assessing and upgrading your environment ensures continued alignment and inspiration. This prevents complacency and keeps your energy directed toward current priorities. Flexibility in modifying your environment maintains its effectiveness as a tool for growth. Investing in education and learning opportunities is another way to upgrade your environment. Access to books, courses, workshops, or mentors expands your knowledge and skill. A learning-focused environment stimulates curiosity and innovation. It encourages you to challenge assumptions and seek new perspectives. This intellectual enrichment supports your ability to solve problems and create new possibilities. Surrounding yourself with resources that foster growth accelerates progress toward your highest goals. Eliminating toxic elements from your environment is essential. This includes physical clutter, negative influences, and distractions that drain your energy. Removing these obstacles clears space for focus and positivity. A clean and supportive environment uplifts your mood and sharpens your mind. It also signals your commitment to excellence and growth. Regularly decluttering and detoxifying your surroundings ensures they serve your best interests. Incorporating rituals or symbols of success into your environment reinforces your goals daily. These can be simple practices like lighting a candle before work, reviewing your goals each morning, or displaying awards and achievements. Such rituals create a sense of purpose and progress. They remind you of your commitment and the standards you hold yourself to. These small yet meaningful elements strengthen your mental connection to your vision. Your environment should also promote balance and self-care. Spaces dedicated to relaxation, creativity, or connection with loved ones provide restoration and joy. Neglecting these areas leads to burnout and decreased motivation. Incorporating elements that nurture your emotional and social needs creates a holistic environment. This balance sustains long-term effort and satisfaction. In conclusion, upgrading your environment to match your highest goals is an intentional process that involves physical spaces, relationships, digital content, habits, finances, time management, mindset, health, accountability, and balance. Each component interacts to create a supportive context for your ambitions. By consciously shaping your environment, you reduce resistance, increase motivation, and create conditions that foster continuous growth. This alignment empowers you to pursue your highest potential with clarity and confidence. Your environment becomes not just a backdrop but a powerful ally in your journey towards success and fulfillment. Chapter 18. Celebrate progress by recognizing how far you've come. Recognizing how far you've come is an essential practice for sustained motivation and growth. Celebrating progress is not about complacency but about honoring the effort and dedication that brought you closer to your goals. Acknowledging your achievements, no matter how small, creates a positive feedback loop that fuels confidence and commitment. When you pause to appreciate your journey, you shift your focus from what's still left to do to the successes already earned. This balanced perspective nurtures patience and resilience, making your path more rewarding and manageable. Taking stock of progress helps maintain a realistic view of your development. It is easy to feel overwhelmed by the distance ahead, especially when goals are ambitious or long-term. By consciously reviewing the steps you've taken, you counteract feelings of frustration or discouragement. This reflection reminds you that growth is cumulative and that every small action contributes to the bigger picture. It also highlights lessons learned and areas of improvement, guiding future efforts with clarity. Celebrating progress encourages a mindset of gratitude. Gratitude for your persistence, strength, and courage builds emotional resilience. When you appreciate your growth, you strengthen your ability to face challenges with optimism. This emotional balance prevents burnout and negativity from taking hold. It creates a nurturing internal environment that supports continued effort and joy in the process. The marking milestones creates tangible moments to celebrate. Setting intermediate goals that break your journey into achievable parts provides regular opportunities to recognize success. These milestones act as checkpoints that boost morale and remind you that progress is underway. Celebrating these moments with small rewards, personal rituals, or sharing achievements with supportive people enhances the experience. This reinforcement makes the pursuit of larger goals feel less daunting and more fulfilling. Acknowledging progress builds self-confidence. When you track your wins, you accumulate evidence of your capabilities. This growing sense of competence dispels doubt and fear. It empowers you to take on greater challenges with courage. Confidence gained from recognizing past success becomes a foundation for future achievement. It encourages bold action and persistence even when obstacles arise. Celebration also strengthens motivation by connecting your present efforts with positive emotions. Human behavior is influenced strongly by reward systems. By creating moments of joy linked to progress, you increase the likelihood of maintaining consistent effort. This emotional reinforcement turns discipline into a more enjoyable experience. Motivation becomes less about obligation and more about the satisfaction of growth. Sharing progress with others enhances the impact of celebration. Communicating your achievements to trusted friends, mentors, or communities provides external validation and encouragement. This social support strengthens your commitment and builds a network of accountability. Celebrating together deepens connections and creates a positive atmosphere around your goals. It also inspires others to pursue their own growth. Recognizing progress invites self-compassion. Growth is often uneven, with successes mixed with setbacks. By appreciating how far you've come, you treat yourself with kindness and patience. This compassionate attitude reduces harsh self-criticism that can stall development. It helps you maintain momentum even when progress seems slow or difficult. Self-compassion fosters a healthier relationship with your goals and yourself. Tracking your journey through journals, photos, or logs provides concrete evidence of progress. Recording daily or weekly achievements, reflections, and lessons creates a visual narrative of growth. This documentation serves as a powerful reminder during times of doubt. It allows you to celebrate incremental changes that might otherwise go unnoticed. Reviewing this record builds a sense of pride and accomplishment. Celebration also enhances learning by encouraging reflection. Pausing to honor progress provides space to evaluate what strategies worked well and what could improve. This mindful review sharpens your approach and increases effectiveness. It turns every step into a learning opportunity. Reflection coupled with celebration deepens your understanding of the growth process. Avoiding comparison during celebration is important. Your journey is unique, and progress should be measured against your own past, not others' achievements. Comparing yourself to others can breed discouragement or envy, undermining motivation. Focusing on personal growth nurtures self-worth and authenticity. It keeps your energy directed toward your own goals and values. Celebrating progress helps combat perfectionism. The desire for flawless performance often leads to procrastination or dissatisfaction. Recognizing your accomplishments, even if imperfect, breaks this cycle. It encourages you to value effort and improvement rather than an unattainable ideal. This mindset supports continuous advancement and reduces unnecessary stress. Incorporating daily or weekly gratitude practices focused on progress increases awareness of growth. Taking moments to acknowledge what you have achieved fosters a positive mindset. This habit shifts attention from shortcomings to strengths. It builds momentum by creating a habit of recognition and appreciation. Celebration also strengthens your identity as a person committed to growth. Each acknowledgement of progress reinforces the belief that you are capable and dedicated. This evolving self-image influences behavior and decision-making. It aligns your actions with the identity you want to embody, making success more likely. Being mindful during celebrations enhances their impact. Fully experiencing the emotions of pride, joy, or satisfaction anchors these feelings in your memory. This mindfulness deepens motivation and creates lasting positive associations with growth. It trains your brain to seek and value progress, reinforcing the cycle. Celebrating progress encourages balance between ambition and contentment. It helps you enjoy the journey without sacrificing your happiness. This balance sustains long-term effort and prevents burnout. Finding joy in the present while working toward the future creates a fulfilling experience. In conclusion, recognizing how far you've come is a vital practice for motivation, resilience, and growth. It nurtures gratitude, confidence, and self-compassion while reinforcing your commitment. Celebrating milestones, tracking progress, sharing achievements, and practicing mindfulness deepen the impact. This approach fosters a positive and sustainable path toward your highest goal. By honoring your journey regularly, you create a rewarding cycle that fuels continuous improvement and lasting success. Chapter 19. Refuel your energy with daily rest and reflection. Refueling your energy through daily rest and reflection is a foundational practice that supports sustained progress and well-being. The demands of pursuing meaningful goals require more than just effort. They require thoughtful recovery and awareness. Rest replenishes your physical and mental resources, while reflection sharpens your understanding and guides your next steps. Ignoring these elements leads to burnout, confusion, and stagnation. Integrating intentional rest and reflection into your routine creates a balanced approach that fuels resilience and clarity. Rest is not merely the absence of activity but an active process of renewal. Quality rest restores your ability to focus, make decisions, and respond with calmness. This includes adequate sleep, short breaks during work, and moments of relaxation. Prioritizing rest signals to your body and mind that recovery is essential, not optional. When you allow yourself this renewal, your performance improves and your motivation strengthens. Consistent rest breaks the cycle of fatigue and stress, enabling you to approach challenges with greater energy and perspective. Reflection complements rest by creating space to process experiences and insights. Taking time to review your day, actions, and feelings fosters self-awareness and growth. This practice helps identify what worked well, what could improve, and how to adapt moving forward. Reflection encourages mindful learning rather than mechanical repetition. It transforms everyday experiences into meaningful lessons that build wisdom and effectiveness. Without reflection, you risk repeating mistakes or missing valuable opportunities for improvement. Creating a daily habit of rest and reflection anchors your routine in balance. Setting aside specific times to pause and recharge prevents overwhelm and promotes consistency. This might include a brief meditation, journaling, or simply sitting quietly to observe your thoughts. Even a few minutes of intentional rest and reflection can significantly impact your mindset and energy. Making this practice non-negotiable emphasizes its importance and cultivates discipline. Rest also involves managing your environment to reduce stress and promote calm. This includes creating spaces free from excessive noise, clutter, or distractions. A peaceful setting supports relaxation and mental clarity. Using calming techniques such as deep breathing, gentle movement, or listening to soothing sounds enhances the restorative effect. When your surroundings invite rest, it becomes easier to disconnect and recharge. Reflection encourages honest and compassionate self-assessment. It requires openness to acknowledge both successes and areas for growth without harsh judgment. This balanced perspective fosters a growth mindset that values progress over perfection. Reflecting with kindness builds confidence and reduces resistance to change. It creates a supportive inner dialogue that motivates ongoing effort. Incorporating gratitude into reflection deepens its benefit. Recognizing what you appreciate about your day or progress enhances positive emotions. Gratitude shifts focus away from shortcomings and builds emotional resilience. This positive framing supports a hopeful outlook and sustained motivation. Regularly expressing gratitude during reflection nurtures a balanced and optimistic mindset. Rest and reflection also improve decision-making and creativity. When you are well rested and mindful, your brain functions more effectively, you are better equipped to analyze options, solve problems, and generate innovative ideas. This mental clarity is essential for adapting strategies and seizing opportunities. Prioritizing these practices enhances your ability to navigate complex challenges. Balancing activity with rest prevents burnout, a common barrier to long-term success. Constant effort without recovery leads to exhaustion and decreased productivity. Recognizing the signs of burnout and responding with intentional rest protects your well-being and effectiveness. Restoring your energy replenishes motivation and focus, enabling sustained progress. This balance ensures your journey is both productive and sustainable. Reflection can also help manage stress and emotional challenges. By observing your reactions and patterns, you gain insight into triggers and coping strategies. This awareness empowers you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Reflection creates emotional regulation that supports resilience and mental health. Addressing emotional well-being is critical for maintaining clarity and commitment. Integrating rest and reflection into your day supports healthy habits overall. Restful sleep improves physical health, memory, and mood. Reflection encourages mindful eating, exercise, and self-care decisions. These combined effects enhance your energy and capacity for growth. Prioritizing these foundations creates a strong platform for achieving your goals. Using tools like journals, apps, or timers can support your rest and reflection routine. Journaling provides a tangible record of insights, emotions, and progress. Reflection prompts guide your thinking and deepen understanding. Timers remind you to take breaks and maintain balance. Leveraging these tools makes your practice more consistent and effective. Rest and reflection also foster patience and acceptance in your journey. They teach you to appreciate progress at your own pace and adapt without frustration. This mindset reduces anxiety about timelines and outcomes. Embracing the process with openness creates a more fulfilling and resilient approach. Sharing your rest and reflection practices with supportive others builds accountability and community. Discussing insights or challenges strengthens your commitment and provides new perspectives. Social support enhances motivation and emotional balance. Engaging with like-minded individuals creates a positive environment for growth. As you develop these practices, be flexible and compassionate with yourself. Some days may require more rest, others more reflection. Adjust your approach based on your needs and circumstances. This adaptability ensures sustainability and respect for your well-being. In summary, refueling your energy with daily rest and reflection is essential for lasting success and fulfillment. Rest replenishes your physical and mental reserves, while reflection sharpens awareness and guides action. Together, they create a balanced cycle that sustains motivation, clarity, and resilience. Prioritizing these practices, managing your environment, and cultivating patience build a strong foundation for growth. Embracing rest and reflection empowers you to navigate your journey with strength and purpose every day. Chapter 20. Commit fully to growth even when no one claps. Committing fully to growth even when no one claps is one of the most challenging and rewarding choices you can make. Growth is often a silent journey filled with quiet effort, unseen struggles, and slow progress. External recognition may be rare or delayed, yet your commitment to yourself must remain unwavering. The true strength of your character reveals itself when you pursue improvement without applause, validation, or immediate rewards. This internal dedication becomes the foundation for authentic and lasting transformation. The first step in fully committing to growth is accepting that external praise is not guaranteed. Relying on others' approval as a measure of your worth or success creates vulnerability to disappointment and distraction. When you build your motivation on your own values and goals, you free yourself from external validation. This shift empowers you to keep moving forward regardless of others' attention or opinions. Your progress then becomes a personal victory, independent of outside approval. Understanding that growth is a long-term process helps sustain commitment. Immediate results are rare, and change often occurs in small, incremental steps. Patience becomes essential when visible rewards are few. Recognizing that your efforts accumulate over time strengthens your resolve to continue. This perspective reduces frustration and fosters resilience. It reminds you that meaningful development is rarely flashy, but always worthwhile. Maintaining focus on your why anchors your commitment. Clarifying your purpose and values provides direction and meaning. When you connect daily actions to deeper reasons, you create an internal source of motivation that surpasses external applause. Revisiting your why regularly reinforces your dedication and reminds you of the significance of your journey. This clarity fuels persistence during difficult or lonely moments. Building self-discipline supports sustained growth without external praise. Discipline is the practice of doing what is necessary even when you don't feel like it or lack encouragement. Cultivating habits and routines creates structure that carries you through times of low motivation. Consistency builds momentum, making progress inevitable. Discipline becomes a self-sufficient engine that drives growth regardless of external factors. Embracing discomfort is integral to full commitment. Growth challenges your comfort zones, exposing you to uncertainty, setbacks, and criticism. Choosing to face these challenges without seeking applause requires courage and resilience. Viewing discomfort as a necessary and valuable part of development transforms your mindset. This acceptance helps you endure hardships and continue learning even when recognition is absent. Developing an internal reward system is crucial for motivation. Instead of waiting for others to applaud, celebrate your own progress. Recognize your efforts, improvements, and lessons learned. This self-acknowledgement nurtures confidence and joy in the process. Creating personal rituals or affirmations to mark achievements reinforces this internal validation. You become your own source of encouragement and affirmation. Surrounding yourself with reminders of your goals strengthens commitment. Visual cues such as notes, images, or symbols that reflect your aspirations keep your focus sharp. These reminders serve as silent motivators that reinforce your dedication even when no one else notices. They connect your present actions with your future vision and maintain your drive. Seeking growth for its intrinsic value rather than external rewards deepens satisfaction. When you appreciate learning, mastery, and self-improvement for their own sake, motivation becomes sustainable. This mindset shifts your attention from outcomes to the process, making each step meaningful. It fosters joy in effort and discovery rather than dependence on results or praise. Accepting that some growth is invisible to others requires humility. Not all progress is outwardly noticeable or celebrated. Changes in mindset, habits, or emotional strength may go unseen but have profound impact. Valuing these subtle transformations nurtures patience and self-respect. You honor your journey even if it remains private or unrecognized. Learning to navigate doubt and loneliness is part of committing without applause. At times, you may question your efforts or feel isolated in your pursuit. Developing strategies to manage these feelings preserves your motivation. This might include journaling, meditation, or seeking support from trusted mentors. Building inner resources allows you to sustain growth through internal strength rather than external reassurance. Setting realistic expectations prevents discouragement. Recognizing that setbacks and plateaus are normal reduces frustration. Viewing these phases as opportunities to reassess and adjust rather than failure encourages perseverance. Realistic goals balance ambition with patience and build confidence over time. This balanced outlook supports a steady commitment to growth. Practicing gratitude for your journey enhances resilience. Appreciating the opportunity to improve and the progress already made cultivates a positive mindset. Gratitude shifts focus from what is lacking to what is gained. It creates emotional fuel that sustains you when applause is absent. Regularly acknowledging your growth journey deepens satisfaction and commitment. Building a strong identity as a person committed to growth anchors your actions. When you see yourself as someone who values learning and effort regardless of recognition, your behavior aligns with this identity. This self-concept guides decisions and habits that reinforce your dedication. Over time, your identity becomes a powerful motivator that transcends external factors. Embracing solitude in your growth process develops independence. Learning to enjoy your own company and trust your inner voice strengthens self-reliance. This independence protects you from the need for constant validation and approval. It fosters confidence to pursue your path authentically and courageously. Recognizing the ripple effect of your growth expands its meaning. Even if your progress is not immediately applauded, it influences your relationships, environment, and future opportunities. Your commitment inspires others silently and creates positive change beyond your awareness. Understanding this impact reinforces the value of your journey. Using setbacks as fuel rather than deterrence strengthens commitment. Viewing failure as feedback and a chance to learn empowers you to continue. Each challenge becomes a step forward rather than a stopping point. This mindset transforms obstacles into tools for growth, reinforcing your resolve. Maintaining curiosity and openness enriches the growth experience. Being willing to explore, experiment, and adapt keeps your journey dynamic and engaging. Curiosity reduces rigidity and promotes continual learning. This attitude supports sustained enthusiasm even without external applause. Incorporating regular reflection deepens your understanding of progress and purpose. Reflecting on your experiences helps you appreciate growth and adjust your course. This awareness enhances your connection to your goals and strengthens your commitment. In conclusion, committing fully to growth without external applause requires inner strength, discipline, and clarity of purpose. Building motivation from within frees you from dependence on validation and keeps you moving forward despite challenges. Embracing discomfort, practicing self-acknowledgement, and nurturing your identity as a learner create a sustainable path. Recognizing the value of invisible progress, managing doubt, and maintaining curiosity deepen your experience. This commitment transforms growth into a lifelong journey of fulfillment and authentic success.